Exactly at 6:30. Thank you all. It is my honor to call to session the 19th session of the 55th Senate. For all of those willing and able, if you could please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. That will now be moving into our land acknowledgement.
Colorado State University acknowledges with respect that the land we are on today is the traditional and ancestral homelands of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute nations and peoples.
This was also a site of trade, gathering, and healing for numerous other Native nations.
We recognize the indigenous peoples as original stewards of this land and all the relatives within it.
As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties nations have to their traditional homelands are renewed and reaffirmed.
CSU is a land-grant institution, and we accept that our mission must encompass access to education and inclusion.
And significantly, that our founding came at a dire cost to Native nations and peoples whose land this university was built upon.
This acknowledgement is the education and inclusion we must practice in recognizing our institutional history, responsibility, and commitment.
That will now be moving into the swearing in of new senators and associates. If you are a new senator or associate, or you're switching positions, if you could please join us up front.
Or should I say, let me just say it. Is this down?
I state your name.
I, CJ Allman,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to defend and uphold
to defend and uphold
the rules and regulations
the rules and regulations
set forth by the Constitution
set forth by the Constitution
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University,
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University,
and will rightfully perform
and will rightfully perform
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Cool, yeah. With that, we'll now be moving into consent agenda. I would like to know that there is a specific item on. Oh my goodness. I was out 1 week. If we can move into the day roll call.
Parliamentarian Faldo.
Here.
Senator Jones. Senator Eddington.
Here.
Associate Senator Price. Associate Senator Escobar.
Here.
Senator Bichau.
Here.
Officer Diggs.
Present.
Senator Chalk. Chair Mananti,
Here.
Senator Roberts,
Present.
Senator Rivera,
Present.
Associate Senator Wilkin,
Present.
Associate Senator Cure, Senator Johnson,
Here.
Senator Perez,
Here.
Senator Dusterberg,
Here.
Senator Jameson, Senator Taylor, Senator Anelias,
Here.
Senator Granier, Senator McCorkle,
Present.
Senator Garland, Chair Casada Stoner, here. Senator Vega,
Here.
Senator Candelario, Senator Leggett, Chair Rivera, Senator Flores,
Present.
Associate Senator Gonzalez, Chair McLaughlin, Senator Hansen, Senator Bachachin, Senator Grant, Senator Corey,
Here.
Senator Hajira, Senator Bone,
Here.
Senator Mendoza, Associate Senator Pratt,
Present.
Senator Hernandez,
Present.
Senator Simpson, Officer Jadon,
Present.
Senator Frisk,
Excuse.
Senator Fain,
Excuse.
Chair Gray, Senator Leary,
Present.
Senator Jana,
Present.
Senator Jeffries,
Present.
Senator Pickerel, Associate Senator Grube,
Here.
Chair Hill,
Present.
Associate Senator Harris, Associate Senator Vogel, Associate Senator Markle,
Present.
Associate Senator Robertson, Chair Gilroy,
Online.
Senator Tronato, and Senator Singleton.
Present.
Awesome, thank you. Now moving into consent agenda. We do have one item on the consent agenda, just as a reminder of what that means. That just means when we approve the agenda, we'll also be effectively ratifying that candidate. So with that, is there any dissent to this agenda? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and have the actual swearing in be our first object of confidence business, once we get to confidence business. So with that, we now are able to move into gallery input. Does anyone from the gallery at this time wish to speak?
I do. Thank you.
You're welcome.
My name is Harper Axelman, she, her pronouns, HDFS major. I wanted to speak on the Accessibility Caucus elections tonight, specifically in support of Leary for chair. I met Leary when they were the outreach officer for Accessibility Caucus last spring, and I was looking for how to get involved with disability advocacy at CSU. I just wanted to speak to Leary's outreach and recruitment as one example of why they should be chair. They really exemplify what accessibility means and actively working to make sure everyone can have their voice heard. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, I've never been here before. Sorry if I missed anything up. Cliche number one. If I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you yet, my name is Claire Pickerel. Cliche number two. I come to you as a student, not as a senator, mostly because I'm not a senator anymore. But I want to encourage you to vote yes this evening on Bill 5530, establishing term limits for university-wide elected positions within ASCSU. Hell of a title. And you know, term limits themselves are not such a radical idea. The oldest, it's one of the oldest like protections that we have for democracy. The Roman Republic, say what you will, elected magistrates, and they would elect magistrates for one term, which was a year. And you could go into 6, Gio, help me with the word, magistracies?
Yeah.
Plural of magistries?
Magistracies.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But you were elected and you would serve for 1 year, and then you couldn't serve in that same one for another 10 years, right? Old. Well, the United States, as we all know, also has term limits. Those weren't originally in the Constitution. Those were added later, but it started with a pretty consistent norm set by President Washington, who stepped down after 2 terms, and that norm continued for 150 years. Up until Franklin Roosevelt was elected for 4 terms. He was very popular throughout almost I think literally the entire time. I think the lowest he ever dipped in approval rating was 49%. He was well loved, but all Americans had to take a look at what happens with a concentration of power and what a concentration of power will do. And so in 1947, Congress passed term limits as an edit to the Constitution. And in 1951, the states ratified that, becoming the 22nd Amendment. So now that's been around a while too. And that principle of term limits is based in the idea that democracy necessitates turnover. Democracy is the voice of the people. And when we just hear the same voice of the people, we're not hearing the voice of the people, we are hearing the voice of the few. And support of term limits continues on today within the constituencies, right? The people of the United States, in April of 2025, who was it? The Washington Post, ABC News, and Ipsos poll found that only 18% of Americans support there being a 3rd term or more. 18%, real low. So most people, by an overwhelming majority, do not support a 3rd term. They support term limits. Take the same logic to Congress. Pew Research found that 87% of Americans favor term limits for congressional members. And it's not partisan either, not at all. 90%, same study, 90% of Republicans support congressional term limits and 86% of Democrats. Yet they won't do that. They won't pass term limits. And I think, in my opinion, the reason's pretty simple, right? The people at the top who have the power aren't going to vote it away, right? I have bars here. 1 second. You cannot expect Congress to vote away their own security, just as you cannot expect a president to voluntarily give up their reins. A president who wants to continue concentrating power at the top will never advocate for term limits. And a legislator who's comfortable in their seats will never vote to leave them. So regardless of who it is, the people holding the power are going to try and keep it. So or a silly little student government. Sorry, your little silly student government, I'm not into this anymore. But ASCSU was founded to be, we're out of time. Could I have can I have 3?
Senator Singleton.
I motion to add 3 extra minutes to the clock for the gallery input.
For gallery event or for the specific speaker? I'm assuming the specific speaker.
Sorry, the specific speaker.
Coolio. Is there any dissent to this motion? Hearing none, yay, Claire.
Thanks. ASCSU was founded to be a platform for student voices, and if the same people hold the same offices repeatedly, that will limit the voices that we've heard. It's a 4-year university. It's a tiny window. Considering students are typically here for about 4.5 years, it's 4.4. A term limit of 1 year would be an average of 22% of their time here at ASCSU. When we think about term limits in an 80-year life expectancy, it's about 10%. I think 22% is fairly generous. And sure, there's a lot of good reasons for opposition. A single term may be a little stringent, and it may appear targeted, even though we don't know who's running yet, because campaigning hasn't started. We don't know who's running. But in terms of having 1 term, sorry, taking a minute to breathe. Got 2 masks on, it takes a while. The bill creates a pretty clear idea. President, vice president, and speaker can only serve for 1 year, 1 term, in their respective area, right? 1 term, if we have 1 term, that's 1 year, but they can serve anywhere else they want after that. Somebody's speaker 1 year, they can be vice president and then president the next year. That's allowed, that's fair game. They're not restricted from continuing on. They can continue projects that they start in any of those positions as they continue to go through ASCSU. They are not limited from doing that. And also, this isn't targeted. It's a neutral rule that will apply to everyone now and going forward. And frankly, if we aren't able to pass reforms because it affects a lawmaker or a chair holder, we'll never pass reforms. It'll never happen. If it affects someone and we don't pass it as a result, why do we even try? Why did we even think about it? Let's just allow this to grow, in my opinion, more corrupt. And I, like many students, have grown disillusioned with ASCSU. I believe this institution will need reforms far past what we have on the docket for tonight. It will be no small feat to do it, but I do believe that we can do it if we're a little less selfish. It should be the goal of everybody in this room and everybody in this office to not focus on what happens within this office, but to focus on what happens out there. It's not the walls that matter, it is out there. And here's my last little thing. I urge every member of ASCSU, not member, official, I know my language, don't worry. Every official of ASCSU to...
Quickly,
30 seconds.
Larry.
I motion for the speaker to have 1 more minute.
Any dissent? Crazy. You can continue.
I urge every ASCSU official to focus less on petty infighting and backroom dealings. Focus less on it. And focus on what's important and the reason you should be here. You should be here for your community and your constituents. Get out there. Stop doing things in here. Go out there. Represent your constituents. So I'm going to leave you with a question. Are you going to begin reforming ASCSU by holding the standard that your constituents, demand from larger democracies, or are you going to do what's convenient for those in power? Do I say I yield?
You can.
I yield.
Does anyone else from the gallery wish to speak at this time? Seeing none, we will go ahead and move into guest speaker. Crazy, that's done. Now we'll be moving into executive reports. If our friends from exec want to join us from the front, to the front.
The newsletter to me personally. To you personally.
Alright, hello, I hope you're all doing well. I know it's only February, but eyeball is already upon us. So if you check the teams or scan this form, or this poster, it will take you to the nomination form. If you don't know, or if this is your first year in ASCSU, the inauguration ball happens every spring after the elections are over. It's a way to welcome the new administration into ASCSU as well as celebrate the work we've done. So this form is to nominate your peers, or honestly yourself if you want, for the various awards we have. So they're all listed and described on the form. A couple things about it. It will close February 28th at midnight, it says on there. And a nomination does not equal a vote. So I will be back after with I would say the top 3 people that are nominated the most for each award, and we'll do voting from there. So it doesn't have to be done anytime soon. Like I said, you have till the end of the month. I'm happy to take any questions now. And if you want to find me later, my office hours are Tuesday and Thursday from 12:30 to 3:30, and Wednesdays from 11 to 4. This poster is posted on my office, so feel free to scan it there. So if there's any questions, and Gio will post it in the chat. Thank you, Gio. That's all for me.
Bless you.
Hi everybody, good to see you. There's a lot of faces I haven't seen in a really long time, which is so fun. I'm really just here to talk about this Friday, which is Wellness Wonderland. I know you've heard it all the time from me and you've probably seen it everywhere. It is going to be happening from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. in LSC Ballrooms A and B. It takes like 5 minutes of your time and it's really cool. It's not a waste of time. You get to go, you get a donut and like maybe some coffee if it's there. And there's gonna be a little bingo card that I'll give to everybody. And if you fill it out, then you get entered into a raffle to win a little stuffed ram, which is super cute. I have 3 of them. So if you like stuffed rams, you want to CSU pride, you should do that. And it would just be really cool if you all just like kind of showed up for like 5 minutes, truly. It just takes a minute to walk around. There's interactive, it's tabling, so resources and organizations centered around health and wellness and basic needs, but it's all interactive, so it's meant to be fun. It's meant to be a way to get engaged with the resources that are offered here at CSU. So I would really, really love to see you all there. Again, LSC Ballrooms A and B, 10 to 1:30, and I'll pass around little cards. The only other thing is that I understand you have the election of the Housing Caucus Chair on the agenda tonight. I would really, really, really recommend running if you have any interest in housing, basic needs, literally anything, hit me up. I used to chair, and so if you have any questions, I can help you out. I can also get you in contact with the most recent, no longer current chair. And she can also help you out. There's so many people around here. I'm gonna point to Jared. Jared's really good with like housing and stuff. Priscilla went a few times. So there's a lot of people that you have. So if you're just interested in either being part of legislative cabinet, maybe getting like your foot in the door with basic needs and housing, it's a really, really good opportunity for you to start. And if you're nervous, just know that you're not alone. And so I would rather see people run than it be empty. Thank you.
Howdy squad. Right now Gov Affairs is working on Day at the Capitol planning and LSAP operations. We had our first LSAP meeting last week, which is really just like goal setting, things of the sorts, which is super cool. We created a little bit of a policy agenda. of like policy areas that we're looking to focus on this legislative session, which include higher education, immigration, women's rights and diversity in general, affordability, and environmental issues. And so last week, we just focused on a little bit of Yapbidge, getting to know each other, seeing what we can do this semester. This week, we'll be focusing on, oh my God. We'll be focusing on two bills, House Bill 1001 and Senate Bill 38. House Bill 1001 is a housing affordability bill. Senate Bill 38 is making CSU adhere to local ordinances. I know it was pretty much created with the intention regarding billboards and noise, but ordinances fraud. We're going to talk about it on Thursday, so it'll be super fun. LSAT's Thursday from 6 to 7 in the conference room, but also online. We're working on getting all of that information, including our minutes and agendas and policy briefs on the website, so that'll be super fun and accessible soon. But pretty much, yeah, that's about it. We're working with Debate Club, with RSOs and Know Your Rights, and other things for Know Your Rights training, but that's coming in the later future. That's all.
Hi everyone, my name is Andrew. I serve as Chief Operations for those I haven't met. I want to shout out Felicity, Grace, Bella, Sophie, and Lauren for showing the Senate giving executive reports. I think it's awesome that they're all here. I know here a lot of familiar faces, so I think that's super cool to hear. I always come and tell you guys about our monthly reports and how they're going to send out the newsletter. They weren't sent out this Monday because I'm still waiting on a couple, so I'm hoping to send out as many as I can this next Monday. And then alongside that, in the background, I've been building an aspect of the website called the Public Initiative Tracker. Some of you might have been hearing about this last year. So all the departments will have all the projects out there and all the monthly reports accessible, and so I would love for you all to engage with that, ask questions, look at the projects, just kind of see what the executive branch has been up to, what we've been accomplishing, what we've been doing. And I would love to work with anyone who wants some sort of similar aspect for the legislative branch or judicial branch, that style of thing as well. I think that would be great. So yeah, that's my update. Thank you all so much for your time.
Coolio, does anyone else from Exec wish to speak at this time? Seeing none, moving into judicial reports, if our friends want to join us.
Hi guys, as a reminder, candidate applications are open now through a week from Friday, which is February 13th. They close at noon, but my life is a lot easier if you apply sooner than later. And then also as a friendly reminder, there's no campaigning in the office of any kind. That means using our offices even if the doors are closed. I have eyes and ears everywhere and it's just not fun for us. So if you're going to talk about campaigning, please go anywhere except for the office. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I have a bit of a longer report. As you guys know, judicial members rotate, coming to Senate to report on what judicial happenings are happening. And so I will go over this full year kind of in review from last semester. And so just to kind of give you guys a rundown, this year we have heard 4 academic misconduct hearings, 3 substance abuse ticket appeals, 1 pre-admissions hearing, 3 opinions, 2 which we accepted, 1 we did not. Some of the major issues that we are seeing happen across campus to be aware of. The first one is AI for academic misconduct. And so we're seeing this come up a lot in assignments and tests and projects. And a lot of the times these professors don't really have the time to really get down to the nitty gritty and really figure out if you did use AI or not. And so they would rather just submit the academic misconduct and then have the Student Resolution Center kind of do the nitty gritty work of that. And so a lot of times we're seeing a lot of speculation, and so the SRC as well as ourselves are making sure that we go through reversion history and go through the doc share and like that M-dashes are actually being used, not just used because chat put them there. And so that's something we're seeing a lot. The other one is, I don't know about you guys, but I was definitely told that you just cross the street to smoke marijuana and don't do it on campus because we're federal property. However, we are seeing that the neighbors of these neighborhoods that we are going to and people are going to smoke are not very happy with it, especially with the noise that comes as students cross the street to smoke. And so that's a big thing that we are seeing across campus. And then the last one actually has to do with party registration from off-campus life.
It has little to do with the noise complaints from parties, but actually when students park down the street and they're walking to and from these parties, that is where we're seeing the most complaints come from, is the noise that happens as people are walking out and in the party. And so those are some of the biggest issues. And then this week, I am delivering 2 opinions that we heard, that is Supreme Court Case 5501 and 5502. I will read these in the entirety and then open it up for questions after each one. But you guys are more than welcome to come to our office hours, and any judicial member should be able to speak on these. All associate justices and the deputy chief justice, as well as myself, if you guys want to ask a question in private. And then these will also be brought up next week for questioning as well. So yeah. Okay, starting with ACCU Supreme Court number 5501. That is going to be delivered today, February 4th, 2026. The constitutional eligibility of ACCU bodies hiring interns. Chief Justice Melanie Brousseau delivered the opinion of the court. Senator for the College of Liberal Arts, Hayden Taylor, requested an opinion regarding whether the legislative and judicial branches and special committees can constitutionally have interns. The following questions were submitted for clarification. What entities of ASCSU are constitutionally allowed to have interns? Number 2, can the legislative branch have interns? 3, can the judicial branch have interns? And 4, can ASCSU special committees have interns? Senator Ford.
I apologize for interrupting. I appreciate your hard work on this. I'm going to make a motion that we dispense with the verbal reading of this and we can all read it and save some time. We have a lot of business tonight.
That's up to you, unfortunately, because it is a material that I believe needs to be presented tonight as per the rules of the court, and additionally, it wasn't sent within the 48 hours to be seen in Senate, we do have to read it in full.
Just to offer clarification on that, in the Constitution, Supreme Court opinions are exempt from the 48-hour rule, and that is why they're read in its entirety to allow for the question period to happen during Senate.
If I might also present a point of clarification, according to section 106, subsection B, subsection I, subsection 4, the only exception to the 48-hour rule is a rendering of an ASCSU Supreme Court opinion. All opinions shall be presented on the screen and read in their entirety on the first reading and shall be brought back up one regularly scheduled Senate session following the initial reading to allow for additional questions on the opinion.
But no worries, this is the first opinion we're hearing this year, so completely understand. Yeah, of course. I believe I was on number 4. Can ASCSU special committees have interns? That includes SFRB, LSAT, BSOF, and caucuses. And 4A, why? The ASU Supreme Court has determined the following. In a vote of 6-0-0, the court has determined that the executive branch is the only entity of ASCSU that is constitutionally allowed to have interns. According to Article 3, Section 307, Part A of the ASCSU Constitution, interns are unpaid members of the executive branch who shall provide support and additional duties for the executive departments. Part D further explains, interns shall be considered ex officio members of the Senate and any other executive branch member. The Constitution specifically calls interns members of the executive branch, explicitly excluding all other branches. Number 2. In a vote of 6-0-0, the court has determined that the legislative branch cannot have interns. Article 3 of the ASCSU Constitution is clear that interns are unpaid members of the executive branch. Number 3, in a vote of 6-0-0, the court has determined that the judicial branch cannot have interns. Article 3 of the ASCSU Constitution is clear that interns are unpaid members of the executive branch. And number 4, in a vote of 6-0-0, the court has determined that ASCSU special committees cannot have interns. 4A, in a vote of 6-0-0, the court has determined that special committees are clearly not considered part of the ASCSU branches, executive, legislative, and judicial. According to Article 7, Section 701, Part A of the ASCSU Constitution, special committees shall be bodies not part of any ASCSU branch. If special committees are not a part of any branch, and the executive branch is the only ASCSU body authorized by the Constitution to have interns, Special committees may not have interns. I will now open it up for questions on the opinion. Okay, great. The same one will happen with the Supreme Court case 5502. ASU Supreme Court case number 5502, opinion of the court. Supreme Court for the Associated Students of Colorado State University, February 4th, 2026. Clarification on over budgeted line items. Chief Justice Melanie Brousseau delivered the opinion of the court. Senator for the College of Liberal Arts, Hayden Taylor, requests an opinion regarding if over-budgeted contract funds must be immediately transferred to Senate discretionary. The following question was submitted for clarification. Does funding that was over-budgeted to a line item and is unable to go to that line item, like funds budgeted to an expected increase and contractual payments that are later denied, go to the Senate discretionary fund, or can that be allocated to other projects without going through the Senate discretionary fund? The ASU Supreme Court has determined the following. Number 1, in a vote of 5-0-1, the court has determined that funding that was over budgeted to a line item and therefore unable to go to that line item, like funds budgeted to an expected increase in contractual payments that are later denied, can be allocated to other projects without going through the Senate discretionary fund. According to Article 10, Section 1002, Part C of the ASCSU Constitution, all unbudgeted funds from the ASCSU fee from either the initial budgeting, rollover funds, or any other source of unbudgeted revenue shall be immediately transferred to the Senate discretionary fund by the Director of Finance. This specifically requires the court to consider the status of over-budgeted funds as mentioned in the question. If funds were specifically allocated to a line item in the budget, they are definitionally no longer unbudgeted funds and can be considered unspent. If they remain unspent for the entirety of the fiscal year, they become rollover funds, and at that point only are classified as unbudgeted. Historically, such as in Bill 5316, funds that were unspent have been reallocated by the President according to Article 10, Section 1002, Part A of the ASCSU Constitution. Funds may be transferred between ASCSU departments by the President only with the approval of the Senate in the form of a supplemental funding bill that shall be written and presented by the President and/or their designee. In that case, the transfer funds were originally budgeted to a financial advisor position that was never filled. Although those funds were budgeted to a line item, they were unspent and therefore eligible to be transferred between departments at the President's discretion and with the approval of the Senate. This implies that the President may propose the transfer of funds to specific projects within ASU departments. I will now open up for questions. Sarah Taylor?
Was that one a dissent or was that an abstention?
Abstention.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. And then we did have one member of the judicial who was not there, and that is why it is out of 6 votes. Cool, thank you guys.
Additionally, I posted these in the general channel, if you guys want to take a look.
Cool, yeah, thank you, Melanie, thank you, Gio. With that, we'll now be moving into legislative reports, starting with officer reports. I'm gonna be quick because we have a long night. Be nice, be germane. If you have any questions, make sure to ask them. Additionally, strikes are a thing. Be scared of strikes. Do your job. I'll do my job. Everyone does their jobs. Woo! With that, do any other officers wish to report?
More personal service. By the end of Senate tonight, I should be able to get up what I'm calling a parliamentarian suggestions box. Please feel free. I highly encourage y'all patronize it. I want consistent feedback, especially with this as we go into our last semester. Also, I am free to meet. I'd like to meet with as many senators as I can about pretty much anything tangentially parliamentary related. And just kind of echoing what Brooke said, yielding to redundancy, but not really. Be nice, be germane, y'all are friends. Thank you.
Some of you might have seen that there was a PR report sent out on the weekly agenda. Due to the amount of elections that we have going on tonight and other things, I will be not giving that report tonight. I'll give it next week, but you can feel free to look through it and email me with any questions that you may have about it, and I yield. Also, happy Black History Month.
I am the same as Dan. I also prepared a little slideshow just detailing my recruitment retention plans for second semester. I will say the presentation is pretty broad. My speech that I prepared was supposed to be a supplemental. Just because we have so many things on the agenda tonight, I won't be presenting that, but if you would look at it, it is linked in the weekly newsletter, and if you have any questions at all, I can answer them, and also if you want me to share my speech with you, just so you have that further clarification, I totally can. But yeah, we were planning to present it today, but we'll do it next week. But yeah, hope everyone's having a good day.
Coolio. With that, just as a reminder for anyone new or the likely 3 different positions that you might be switching, if you're switching positions or if you're new, if you could come and talk to me after Senate and also fill out that funny sheet so you get the right placard, that'd be sick. But with that, we'll now be moving into committee and caucus reports by first raised placard. Chair Gisela Stoner.
Hello everyone, I hope you're having a good night. I'll keep this short as well just because we will have a long night ahead of us. I also wanted to say happy Black History Month and go check out all of the events from BAC. And then this Friday we will be holding our second Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, 5 to 6 p.m. on Friday, so come. During this, we also are going to go over goals for the semester. So if you have anything that you want to let me know to incorporate in those goals, please let me know. And yeah, thank you. I yield.
Thank you. Chair Rivera.
Hi, everyone. UA did not meet this week since there was no bills to look at. But thank you to everyone who sent in their answers and questions. I appreciate them and I'll be reviewing them. And yeah, see y'all next Monday. I hope good time.
Thank you. Chair McLaughlin.
Budgetary Affairs met last Thursday. We reviewed 5530, I think, the term limits bill. We added a safety clause to it and discharged it. Additionally, about $4,000-ish will be returning to the Senate discretionary fund soon, as soon as I take care of returning that, due to bills that expired without their full amount of funding being spent. Additionally, if anyone is interested in this position for next year, now would be a great time to let me know, because this is a super fun position that requires you to learn lots of super fun things. So I would be happy to help anyone interested start learning and preparing for both their election and eventual role in this position for next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair Hill.
Hi everyone, I just wanted to let everyone know that our meeting time for Women's Social Justice Caucus has changed. It was originally Wednesdays 1 to 2, but the office space was booked, so now it's Fridays 1 to 2. Yay! Hope to see you all there. I yield.
Cool, thank you. Do any other committees or caucuses wish to give a report at this time? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move into Senator and Associate Senator reports by first raised placard after all of you do. Sure, Chairman Minolti.
Hey y'all, happy Black History Month. Can I get an amen to that?
Amen.
Thank you. All right, but yeah, no, as stated, BAC has a lot of events that are going to be going on throughout this entire month. I believe this Friday is a film showing by United Men of Color. Dan, quick, check me on that.
So there is a film screening tonight from 6 to 8 p.m. And then the rest of our events will be taking place next week. But on Monday, or on the 11th, we have Samba Sensations, a Real Talk on the 16th. And I don't know how many of you use the dining halls on campus, but every Black History Month, they usually have a meal in Ram's Horn with soul food, and that's gonna be the 18th as well.
So, I'm terrible with time. Time is terrible with me. But as stated by Diana, we're gonna be holding events all month. Soul food's always good. And yeah, again, happy Black History Month. And yeah, yield.
Thank you, Senator Brisky.
Hi, Sweet Shop is next week, it is Wednesday, it is at 5 p.m. Till like 7:30, 5:30 to about 7:30? 8, I can count. It's during Senate, we had no control over that, so sorry, but it's cool, if you wanna know more about it, ask me, I'm not gonna yet. I owe my time.
Thank you, Senator Leary.
Hi everyone, so I just wanted to let y'all know that we have a new associate senator. Do you wanna real quick introduce yourself? I yield.
Hi, my name is CJ Allman. I'm the new associate senator for the SDC. I'm a BMS and BM double major, and I'm so happy to be here with y'all. Thank you. I yield. I yield to Leary.
And then one more quick thing. I'm a member of the Dollaride Transit Accessibility Committee with Transport. We meet next Tuesday. There will be 2 presentations on the West Elizabeth and optimization plan. I just wanted to ask that if you have any questions beside what AdFab has done, that you please send those my way so that I can ask those, and I will come back with those answers next week. And then you can just reach me on Teams or email on liri@collegestate.edu. I yield.
Thank you, Senator Johnson.
Hi y'all, I'm a senator for the College of Health and Human Sciences, and I'm also part of the Dean's Ambassadors Program for the College of Health and Human Sciences. And I know there's not a ton of us in this room that are College of Health and Human Science, but it's a really, really amazing program, and we are opening up applications, and they're due February 18th. It was like the best thing I did in all of college, like genuinely, like the amount of growth and leadership and mentorship that has happened within this program has like changed my life. So if you are a College of Health and Human Sciences person, please come and talk to me about it and join it, specifically you, Enoch. Calling you out, but anybody, all of you guys are super, super capable, and I would love to see you apply and sort of carry on the legacy of ASCSU and Dean's Ambassadors Program for the College of Health and Human Sciences. I yield.
Thank you, Chair McLaughlin.
I want to touch on Lauren's point from earlier. I'm happy to help anyone that is planning to run for Housing Caucus Chair with Housing Caucus related things. I actually went down to Denver to testify on a housing related bill yesterday. I was there till 7:30 p.m. So that was super fun. Yes, I saw Nick DeSalvo. That's really cool. Anyways, I'm happy to help with that. The only reason I would not be running for that chair is I simply do not have time for it. Also, the Rec Center's ski and snowboard fitness class is looking for more participants. So if you're interested, go to the Rec Center class website. I yield.
Thank you. Do any other senators or associates wish to give a report at this time? Senator Corey.
Thank you. A brief report from Graduate Student Council. We met last night. We use a more collaborative process, not adhering to rigorous interpretation of Robert's Rules of Order. Took no votes, no opposition, no debate. But the big issue that came out of our collaborative process is the residency rules at this fine university are more geared to undergrads who, graduate from high school, go to CSU. You graduate from a Colorado high school, you get residency. You graduate from a non-Colorado high school, you don't get residency. Grad students are different. So that is a big priority for the Grad Student Council this year to modify those residency rules to more accurately reflect truth. Thank you. I yield.
Thank you. Clapping tonight is incredibly confusing. That's my bad. Are there any other senator or associate senator reports at this time? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move into confidence business, starting with the swearing in of the Finance Department intern. Yes, Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair, or Madam Speaker. I would like like to move to add Bill 5535, reallocating contractual savings to the end of old business. Simply, I know we have a long agenda tonight, I'm sorry, but the elections team needs security in their funds as soon as possible to hold their events. So.
Second. We'll go ahead and, there's a second, so we'll go ahead and vote on this by voice. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Figures. With that, it will be, sorry, what? Oh. Are there any abstentions? We're calling that division, we're starting over. All those in favor, please raise your placard. You guys can go ahead and put those down. All those opposed, please raise your placard. Shy. With that, any abstentions? Keep them up, 4 for more. Thank you, you can go ahead and put those down. With a vote of 21 to 1 to 9, it will be put on the agenda. Okay, with that, we can move into the swearing in of the intern.
Think so, yeah.
I state your name,
I, Brandon Abila,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to defend and uphold
to defend and uphold
the rules and regulations
the rules and regulations
set forth by the Constitution
set forth by the Constitution
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University,
and will rightfully perform
and will rightfully perform
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Awesome, with that, we'll now be moving into the election of the ASUSU Speaker Pro Tempore. Do I hear any nominations for this position? Aggressive. Officer Diggs.
I would like to nominate Aaron Jadon.
Farron, do you accept this nomination? Coolio. Do I hear any other nominations for this position? Chairman Monty,
I would like to self-nominate.
do you accept your own nomination?
I do accept my own nomination.
Perfect. Associate Senator Green?
I'd like to nominate Chair Hill.
Chair Hill, do you accept this nomination?
I do.
Awesome. Oh, goodness gracious. Senator Vega.
I would like to nominate Senator Eddington.
Senator Eddington, do you accept this nomination?
No.
No.
Thank you, now it's official. Senator, Amika, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I would like to nominate Olivia Frisky.
Senator Frisky, do you accept this nomination?
I do.
Leo, are there any other nominations for this position? Awesome. Do any of you care about going first? Is anyone really passionate about it? Okay, so if I could have Chair Frisky join me at the front and then the rest of the candidates to step outside. Not Chair Frisky, but Senator Frisky. My bad.
10 minutes for presentation, 10 minutes for Q&A, and then at the very end, 10 minutes for discussion. Yes.
And discussion debates, all of them.
Yeah.
Okay, you have 10 minutes to present.
Okay, so, hello, if I haven't had the pleasure to meet you yet, I'm Olivia Frisky. I am currently, the longest sitting senator, I believe, because I have, there have been some people who have been in this space a little bit longer than I have, but I have been the one that's been consecutively sitting in the senator position. I was the Women in Social Justice Caucus Chair for 2 years, and this year I am a senator. And originally, there was some part of me that did want to go for Speaker Pro Tempore, but I also knew that the former Pro Tempore, Lutz, was a formidable person to go against, but now I feel confident in my own abilities that I can fulfill this role. I am a good mediator. That is what I've done my entire life, so I'm really good at going in between people and figuring out how to come to common ground. I'm very passionate about DEI. I helped change the name of Women's Caucus to Women in Social Justice Caucus because I felt like the space needed more room for social justice. I have the Constitution printed out, it's annotated, and I've read it through, and you betcha I'll be reading it again. Many times, along with the bylaws. I also have a really good working relationship with a lot of the people that are currently in legislative cabinet and outside of legislative cabinet. So I believe that I can navigate these relationships well and also be able to be both a friend and a coworker, which is what I would be taking this position on to be. I think one of my strengths in life is that I truly care about people, and I am very, very passionate about helping my friends and helping those that want help and need it. And so in this position, I think the Speaker Pro Tempore definitely steps into an advocate role and also kind of like a peer role to help the onboarding process go smoother. My onboarding process was not good. There were some really sketchy things that happened. And I really don't want that to happen to anybody that enters this room. I think that this space can be a really beautiful space, even if it's intimidating and scary. But I really hope that I can help foster new senators to come in here and really take the reins and understand what they want to do. And then I think the only thing that I do want to fully disclose to everyone is I have a class that goes till 6:50. So I will be late to Senate, but I do also know that as the Speaker Pro Tempore, you're not having as active a role of Senate unless you are leading it, which in the case that I do need to lead it right away, I will communicate with my professor and get here as soon as possible, preferably on time. But I also will work very hard to make sure that that is all figured out. This was unfortunately the only time this class is offered for me to graduate, so it's unfortunate, but also I've been here for a long time and I'm ready to step into an actual paid role. Never been paid by ASCSU, but I say that I'm not doing this for the money, just so we're clear, but I think I'm ready for the responsibility, and it was an easy decision to run for me. Yeah, I think that's it. And I really hope, I want to make sure that everyone is fulfilling their job roles, including legislative cabinet and also senators, but also offering support and understanding, because the world is crazy. The world is, actually I shouldn't use crazy. The world is in turmoil, and there's constantly things changing and everyone's situation is different. I myself am disabled, so like stuff can happen, you know? But I am committed to being here and committed to every one of you. I think I yield my time.
Cool, yeah. With that, we'll now be entering a period of Q&A for our candidate by first raised placard, Senator Singleton.
All right. Sorry if this wasn't made clear or not. Is this your last semester here at CSU?
Yes, unfortunately it is.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. All right, thank you. I yield.
Senator Eddington.
So you mentioned time constraints in your schedule. This is gonna be kind of a tough question, I'm sorry, but how is it best for this body to elect you if you have a schedule that conflicts with our meetings?
Yes, so, full disclosure, usually we start at about 6:40. So it is about 10 minutes after the start. And I will do my best to be here. I am always here. I always, except for like a handful of times that I can probably count on my hand of the amount of Senate meetings I've missed within the last 3 years. And I will do my best, but I also bring that to you because if that is something that the body agrees that does not make me a worthy candidate, then I will understand that. But I also want to fight for myself that this is where I'm at right now, is I can't change my schedule, but I really am passionate about this space and about this position, but I also understand.
As an additional point of clarification, in terms of the people that are at the front of this room and their role in Senate, Gio and I, we have to be here. Otherwise, nothing really happens. The Speaker Pro Tem's job is largely administrative and outside of the physical Senate session. Additionally, we've had speakers in the past who have had a class who ran halfway through class and the Senate still functioned, just as additional context for that question. But with, do you yield?
I yield, thank you both.
Cool, yeah.
And thank you for that question, I do appreciate that.
Amika, did you raise your placard? You can go ahead and ask.
Hi, I have a couple questions. Do you know the responsibilities of the Speaker Pro Tempore?
Yes, and I feel very confident in that, but I also will be reviewing job descriptions. But mainly it is to help with onboarding, making sure you're connecting with senators, having meetings with senators, having meetings with legislative cabinet, attending legislative cabinet, being able to step in when the speaker cannot lead the session, and communicating with outside entities such as the CRCs and college councils. Pretty much anything administrative-wise also that the speaker needs, you're kind of someone who can step up and be a support or an assist.
Thank you. Are you aware of the strike policy?
Yes, I am. It is, you get 3 strikes, and it is if you don't go to a committee meeting, if you don't show up to Senate and you don't have an excusal, and also if you don't have office hours, which aren't necessarily in place at this moment, but that is something that is technically in the bylaws or the Constitution.
What is the Speaker Pro Tempore's role in legislative cabinet?
So it's been a while since I've been to legislative cabinet, and each one is slightly different in the way that they function, because it can be more holistic than specifically like structured, as in they have an agenda, but it can be a little bit more, for lack of a better term, loosey-goosey. And I would, in this position, I would help facilitate the meeting, of course, assisting the speaker wherever needed. I think making agendas is part of it. I don't know, I actually shouldn't ask that, but.
The speaker makes the agenda goes to legislative cabinet approves it, and then it goes to you, and then it's a big circle forever.
There we go, okay. So, I stand corrected, but, and also just kind of helping facilitate those meetings as far as moderating between members if there is disagreements, and figuring out how to navigate that best.
Perfect. What is your role in the Senate session as pro tempore?
Yeah, so Senate session, the more of the pro tempore's job is outside of the Senate session, but in Senate, it's, I mean, being here and then when the speaker needs you to, stepping up and leading the session to the best of the ability, but also helping with stuff like counting, so counting votes, also being able to help the parliamentarian and speaker, even though they're gonna probably be the ones that know the answer first. But if there is a dispute or if there's any discussion happening, then going in between and like figuring it out, help being another person of knowledge in the room.
And last question, with the understanding, or do you have the understanding of chairing a Senate session?
I do. I think the first time I chair, it would be a little rocky just because I think that's true for everyone. It is a different sort of like language to throw yourself into. I have chaired meetings before in Women and Social Justice Caucus, where I did follow Senate procedure, and then as time went on, we found that that structure was not the best suited for that caucus when I was leading it specifically. But I do feel like I've seen enough Senate sessions, I've practiced it, that I could step into the role, that language fairly well.
Thank you.
Well.
Thank you very much. I yield.
Thank you. Senator Vega.
Hello, can you tell us a little more about your opinions and views on shared governance and interbranch collaboration?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a big fan of interbranch collaborations. I think that that is one of the areas that, that's one of the areas that ASCSU in the past I've seen issues with, and wanting more of that. And I really hope that I so far in this Senate and in this executive and judicial, I feel like there is a lot more working together and there's better relations between everyone, which I'm really happy to see, because there's wonderful people throughout the entirety of ASCSU. And so I think one of the things that the pro tempore also has to do is, moderating between the branches, figuring out how to best address issues that arise between the branches, facilitating connections, all that kind of thing, in order to really serve our students well. Because I think if we are cutting ourselves off from each other, and if there's infighting, if there's anything like that, then we're not serving the students well enough, and we really need to be working together.
Awesome, thank you, I yield my time.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for this candidate at this time? Senator Corey.
Thank you for your long service to this body, appreciate it. The previous ASCSU Speaker Pro Tempore worked very well with me, even though the previous Speaker Pro Tempore did not necessarily agree with me on every topic. Are you confident in your ability to discharge your duties ideologically neutrally?
Are you referring specifically to impartiality? Is that what
Yes.
you're getting to? Yes.
Better word, thank you.
Yes. I'm not gonna compromise my own morals, but I will be able to be impartial in this setting. I think that as a body, nobody can be completely impartial, but I am aware of my own biases, and will work to make sure that everybody feels safe and heard within this space. And so I do believe I can be impartial, but I also will stand strong in my own morals, because I do believe that everyone in this space should feel safe and should have a voice, and that's not something I would want to compromise on, if that makes sense.
Yes, thank you, I yield.
Are there any other questions for this candidate? Seeing none, Olivia, if you could grab someone and pull them inside.
Does it matter who or just
Whoever wants to.
Okay, thank you.
Nice little.
I think, isn't it just majority? Yeah, but if you get a majority, there's nothing that matters. Oh wait, I break the tie. Yeah, even if it isn't a perfect. You're good to go whenever.
Hi. So some of you might know me as Senator Menanti, Associate Senator Menanti, or Chair Menanti. Some of you might also know me as just Enoch, the folk who's in your class, or just around the Private Resource Center, or any of the Cultural Resource Centers, or who stays in the office way too long. But I come to you simply as myself. I am running for this position just to, provide some assistance. I know it's sudden to lose our former Speaker Pro Tempore, but I am here to just try, help things out, answer any questions y'all have, and try my best to actually, fill the position to the best of my abilities with my years of experience here in the org. Yeah, I could go on about that, but I know y'all don't actually want to hear all that lengthy diatribe, so I'm just gonna let y'all ask y'all questions now.
Senator Bacon.
Hello, Chairman Monti. I believe that one of the biggest things about the Speaker Pro Tempore and what they have to do is building relationships within the organization, both in the Senate and the executive branch. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you plan on building relations with the current administration and current senators and current leadership in all three branches?
Well, I have a very straightforward personality of I'm going to say hi to you when you walk in. I'm going to ask how you're doing, and then go see where the conversation goes from there. My point of contact with a lot of y'all has always been like going up to you in the moments of recess or before Senate and being like, oh, how's your day going? How are you doing? What are your interests? What's going on? And that's how I've been directly making relationships with generally the greater Senate public, and also saying hi to y'all outside of this space, because I know y'all exist outside this space. Some of y'all might forget that for some of each other, but that's neither here nor there. And then, with exec, Bestie, I've seen them out at Brand Band, and I've gladly said hi to all of them. And you know what? I feel like when it comes to relationships, I make it a point to say hi and establish that first point of contact, which is something I think that a lot of folks do struggle with. I think something that I also try to do is try to meet people at their level. Something that I feel like is very important. And, some of you have also seen me hang out in the judicial office as well, talking to Melanie about various different things and or the various other justices, and So that's how I've made my current contacts, and to expand upon that, I want to see new people in these spaces. I want to say hi to them. I want to get to know what are they doing, their projects, their goals. How can I help with that and support them? And, see where their field of expertise and knowledge, because y'all all have that, might help in other projects that I know are going on. Make connections within my other connections. You see? There we go.
Great answer. This position office will likely bring some pretty difficult conversations, likely with strikes or things of the sorts. Can you tell us a little bit more about a time when you were dealing with a conflict with either a coworker or someone else in your life, and how you were able to work that conflict out?
Child, I work fast food. I got experiences. But to provide an example, literally this Monday, I was facing a very interesting situation where we were already down a closer Monday night. We were getting hit pretty hard during our dinner rush, and one of our fellow colleagues who was able to send on break at that moment was throwing up, but she was very adamant on still staying on the line because she didn't want us to close for the night and, take a hit to that profit margin and whatnot. And I feel like when it comes to those types of conversations, you do have to be firm. You gotta be standing your ground and take the priority of what is best overall for everyone, and how to not only, one, send that person home so they can actually take care of themselves, drink some water, and are well taken care of, but also making sure how to, still at the end of the day, make the tough decisions of like, hey, we do need to close because there's only like 2 people in this building. And unfortunately, that is not enough to handle a dinner rush. And that is just one example of that, and making sure to reach out to those who are like, more qualified. If it is getting that deep and serious, can their advice and or help in those areas of expertise? Because, I know that I don't know everything, and I know that I do need help, and that's why we have lovely pro staff, such as like Alyssa, why am I bad with names? Such as Alyssa, I'm... Feel free, shout out to you, and also Julia, and various other folks. So I do feel like when it comes to taking on those tough conversations, meeting people where they at, 2, trying to come up with the best decision that needs to be done and acting upon it as soon as possible, and 3, when I don't know stuff, go and ask for help.
Thank you. One last question. With DEI under attack all over our nation, how will you support ASCSU and ensuring that DEI is being accessed by everyone and everyone is, feel welcomed here in the Senate.
DEI committee, my first love, my baby. I feel like for that answer, it is just going to be blunt and simple. I don't bend knees to people who are being, and you can give me a strike for this, dicks. I'm going to be blunt. You all deserve to be in this space as you are, as who you are. And that might change from day to day, and I'm supposed to support that. And I don't care who wants to come in and try to tell you you are less than. I will shut that down so hard and so fast. Because you deserve to be in this space. You deserve to be that voice. That is my job here when I am in this space, to provide a voice for all of you and all of the students who are outside this room. That is my job, and I will stick to it. Because one thing about me, I'ma do my job.
Beautiful answer, good luck, and I yield my time.
Thank you, Senator Vega. Chair Quesada Stoner.
Hello, I was wondering if you would like to highlight any knowledge that you have on Senate or parliamentarian procedures.
All right, so as y'all know, I've been in this space for like 4 years now, Hayden? Who knows? He's one of the 2 people in this organization who beat me in seniority here. But I've been in this space for a long time. I've seen plenty of administrations come and go. I'm still in contact with, I think all 3 previous speakers of the Speaker Pro Tempores, and no, I'm not in contact with Nick. So I can't say I'm in contact with all the speakers that I know, but I still have access to their wellspring of knowledge of this organization, as well as the fact that I was the first full year chair, not the first chair, but the full year chair of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Affairs Committee, and wrote a beautiful transition report, 10 out of 10, would write again, which I feel like I imparted a good portion of my own knowledge into that, which has helped set up this committee for success, despite its newer roots compared to the others. As well as that space, I've also been the Internal Affairs Secretary, so I have a general understanding on how to take minutes, how to make sure that those are well accessible and well sent out. And then on top of that, even last year, when I was only associate senator for 1 semester and came back as an ex officio, that was a fun time where I learned how to understand my role and read the rules of what I can and cannot do, and understand my own limitations, and still use that to try to move things forward for the better of the greater good. Finally, I am currently the chair of the Students of the Oval Caucus. Y'all should head to that one so much. I've figured out how to at least get the ball rolling on that caucus. In past years, it's been sort of a little stagnant, but at least now, in that caucus, I've been able to at least hold conversations with students from across the campus in that regard by just straight up reaching out. So that's a little bit of my experience with being a caucus chair, being a committee chair, being a secretary. Generally speaking, I've just been here to see a lot of things. Like Bessie, I was here when the Discord happened, which is lore for later.
Yes.
Did that adequately answer your question, or would you like me to keep going?
No, that was perfect. Thank you, Enoch. I yield.
Cool. Officer Diggs.
Hi, Enoch. I know you talked a little bit about the seniority that you have in this space already. I was gonna ask something similar to Victoria, so I guess I'll say, how do you think you can leverage your past years and experience in Senate to either build on things that we already have that are good, or avoid some of the pitfalls of past Senates?
All right, as stated before, I will be reaching out to probably past Speaker Pro Tempores and, generally asking their advice and on subjects and that. I think something else that I can do a little bit of leverage on with that is imparting that knowledge outward to other folks so they also have that knowledge. I understand that when I'm going to be in this role, I'm going to be in it for this semester, but I can't promise that I will be in it next semester. And I think that y'all who are going to probably be returning, who are probably going to be running for this position again, should still have access to that information very early on. I think leveraging my knowledge is by imparting it upon all of y'all, making sure that y'all have access to it, that you can reference it. I think something that I also do want to build upon.
We are gonna be out of time here in just a second. Senator Singleton.
I motion to add, I think, how many more people are left on the list?
Just you after this.
Okay. We'll do 5 minutes, okay, add 5 minutes to this Q&A session.
Is there any dissent to this motion? Hearing none, that'll be reflected.
I think also something that I truly need to also do is, as Speaker of the Senate, reach out to who all helped get you elected. So that's your college presidents, that's your directors, that's y'all's everything, and making sure I have that list of contacts. So when I actually start doing strikes, if I do need to, which hopefully I won't need to, I can at least make sure that they're CC'd on that in email and are also informed as well. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you for that answer. I'll yield to Senator Singleton.
He's next on the speakers list. You just want a normal you?
I'll just yield my time then.
Cool, yeah. Senator Singleton.
Well, thank you. I'll try to make these fast. I have a couple questions. First, how well are you with the Constitution for ASCSU, and how comfortable would you be in taking charge when you have to?
As seen before, like y'all have seen me up here acting as parliamentarian sometimes, I ran caucuses, I ran committee, and when I need to put my foot down, I learned that, it's not comfortable, but I can do it. I think also when it comes to taking charge is understanding where the reins are. And with that, I think when it comes to that, I think I have a pretty good grip of what I can, what I cannot do. As for reading the Constitution, I spent an entire spring break reading that and understanding it, as well as reading the bylaws. The amount of times, even the previous bylaws from last year as well, Hayden has heard that when he was editing. I was right there. So I feel like I'm pretty familiar with both the Constitution and our current set of bylaws, as well as a fair bit of documents within this space. And even if there is something I do not know, I'm more than willing to look up something. And if I am wrong, I'll own that I'm wrong. I know that my memory is not perfect. No one's is, unless you have photographic memory. And even then, that's a case-by-case basis. So I know that I'll probably have to read the Constitution a few times to make sure that I'm actually quoting something right.
All right, awesome. And then my next question for you is, you were talking about how, sorry, I don't know why my microphone's doing this, but you have a job and then you're also a chair, and then with this new job, how would you be able to work around with the time constraints and all the administrative roles you have to fulfill?
All right, well, for one, when I enter Speaker Pro Tempore, I will be no longer chair of Students of the Oval Caucus, so that'll be a different constraint. As for the timing of it, I have already started to mentally map out office hours for myself when I am Speaker Pro Tempore, as well as how that would work with my own schedules, such as classes and whatnot. And with that, I think also understanding that if need be, I have the ability to edit my availability, since it is a schedule that is released week by week basis, instead of just like, the whole school year. And that gives me the ability to edit my availability with that job. And also with the understanding of I can be flexible.
All right, awesome, thank you, I yield.
Thank you. Senator Michelle.
Hi Enoch, I just have a couple questions. Are you aware of the Speaker Pro Tempore's role overall and as well as in Senate session?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Do you know how to chair Senate?
Yes, I believe I do.
Sounds great. Are you aware of the strike policy?
Yes, I am aware of the strike policy. I have gotten one strike in my tenure, but I know it well.
Perfect. What is the Speaker Pro Tempore's role in legislative cabinet?
I understand that the role of the Speaker Pro Tempore is basically to be be the shadow of the lovely speaker, that lovely second hand, that second in command, help out when things are in a jam. Got a little bit of a line there. And understanding that that role requires me to, you know, basically understand Brooke's role as well as also how to, you know, help and assist in that, whether that's through the strike policy, whether that's also through like understanding. Also, it's a job that's meant for me to reach out and support y'all as senators and associate senators and also executive branch members. I see y'all in the back. And also judicial members and going to those not those, different name, I'm trying to think. Leadership, ACSU leadership meetings on as well to make sure that I'm also up to date to what the other branch leaders are up and doing.
Perfect, I yield.
Perfect timing. With that, are there any other questions for this candidate? We would need to extend the time. Do I hear a motion for us to extend the time to entertain Senator Coy's question? Officer Dix.
Motion to extend the Q&A time by
A minute.
2 minutes. Yeah, 1 minute.
Okay, is there any dissent to extending the time by 1 minute? Hearing none, you can go ahead and ask.
Thank you for your service. Laissez-le bon temps rouler.
I don't speak French, unfortunately.
I thought you did. All right, so why did you nominate yourself?
I felt like when I nominated myself, I felt like I could fill the position pretty well as I had a general good understanding of both the position, both within my time within this space, as well as I think I can be pretty impartial despite what my face says. So I know, I've seen my own reaction.
Did you ask someone else to nominate you and they didn't?
I did not ask anyone to nominate me.
Thank you, I yield.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for this candidate? Seeing none, if you could take a step outside and bring someone else in. Just to review our strike policy real quick, just because there's been some incongruencies in the answers given. There are two sets of strikes that you can get. There is the combination of office hours and Senate attendance, and then there's committee hours. You can't get removed unless you get 3 strikes in one of those 2 categories. They should be sent out weekly. It's pretty good. If you have any questions, consult the bylaws, consult me, consult Hayden, he wrote them.
Hello, everyone. If you don't know me yet, I'm Farron. Yeah, so I have a couple bullet points I want to go down. I didn't have a prepared speech because I think I work better with the bullet points. But yeah, so I'll just be telling you a few reasons why I think I would be best suited for the Speaker Pro Temp role. One is I already have time set aside for this. So as you all know, I'm recruitment and retention. I spend a lot of time in this office and I spend a lot of time meeting with senators as it is. I would say I even spend more than my required time that's in my job description. So having to really change my schedule around for if I got this position, I wouldn't need to because I already have that time set aside. 2, I do believe I have the leadership skills in outreach, conflict resolution, and communication. I know I can speak for a lot of people in this room. We may have had our disagreements and we may have had issues in the past, but I've always resolved it in a respectable way. I make sure to communicate with everyone, and I think that's something that would be really important in the Speaker Pro Temp role. One thing I really focus on, and this is if I get the position or not, in my recruitment and retention role, one thing I'm really focusing on for this semester is accountability, specifically within Senate leadership. I know a lot of you aren't able to come to LegCab, but for those that were in LegCab, I have already made my speech about how I really want to set up Senate leadership to be an actual guide, an actual like giving guidance to senators, because I think now Senate leadership isn't really setting that example of giving that guidance and really not y'all coming to us, but it's in our job descriptions to be outreach focused. We should be coming to you. And I think I can speak for that. I've spoke with most of the people in this room, whether that be related to ACSU or not. I've come up to you, I've asked your name, I've introduced myself. Regardless if you are part of ACSU or not, I make it known that I want to know you. Like I said, I come to y'all and y'all do not come to me. I have helped people and I've helped senators specifically with stuff that isn't even relating to my job description. I believe that help is a crucial part of the Speaker pro tempore or any role in Senate, especially Senate leadership. I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, I'm not going to help you on that because that's not my job description. I think it's really on Senate leadership to be that help. And if I don't know how to help you, I'll point to someone or I'll learn how to help you. There would be less of a learning curve with me compared to the others. As you all know, I'm recruitment retention. I am pretty familiar with the Speaker pro tempore role. I was close with Ellie before they resigned, and I know a lot of the details and ins and outs of doing this job. One thing I would like to say is I am present at ACCU events as well as other campus events. I am very involved on campus that is not in regards to ACCU. I spread the word of ACCU to other people that aren't naturally really engaging with student government in that way. And also another one thing, I am always present at Senate. I'm on time. I'm present in LegCab. I'm present in CRC meetings. I'm present at committee meetings. Yeah, and again, I'm on time. There's no, I'm gonna start showing up. I already am showing up. And another thing, I advocate for ACCU and our students on all levels, whether that be directly with admin or just simply going out on the plaza and advocating that way. And again, you can trust that I'm reliable and I will advocate for you at all times. Regardless if I get this position or not, I believe everything that I'm saying, I will do regardless. That accountability thing, that leadership thing, that will still happen regardless if I get this role or not. I just do believe that this role would be best suited for someone like me so I can advance these things more. And yeah, one thing I think was a big focus for this year was cross-branch relationships. I would say I have really spent a lot of my time with cross-branch relationships. Not only am I familiar with people in Senate, but I'm also familiar with people that are in our judicial and our executive branches. As you all know, we hosted it was the potluck and game night, that we did with our lovely, I forgot exactly what the team name was called, but with our lovely Andrew and then Laura and Diana. Organizational wellness. Thank you. So if any of y'all want to join, please come join. But yeah, I'm really big on cross-branch relationships and I'm really big on fostering that kind of relationship. So I think what goes into that is really being professional. Like, I understand that Senate and executive especially have had kind of a rocky history. So I think really changing that culture was one of my big goals. And I think I've done a lot in terms of doing that. But yeah, I just want to emphasize my presence. I'm present at Senate, at committees, at LegCab, CRC meetings. I show up on time and I do show up in every space. And I hope that you all know that if you wanted my help, that I would be able to help. But yeah, that's all I have to say.
Cool, with that, we'll now be moving into a period of Q&A by First Choice Blackreed, Senator Singleton.
All right, I have 3 questions for you. First one is, how long would you be available to be able to actually be the Speaker pro tempore?
As long as y'all need.
Cool, sweet. And then the next question is, how well do you know ASCSU's constitution?
I would say relatively well, obviously not as some people in this room just hate it, but I would say my knowledge is well enough to do this job.
Cool, and then my last question for you is, you're talking about how you wanted to have more accountability for Senate leadership. What are some of the ways that you would plan on doing that within this role as Speaker pro tempore?
Yeah, so actually centering on that speech that I already gave at LegCab, to be blunt, there's a lot of things that we kind of didn't do last semester that I think we really need to do this semester. Even for my position, I take accountability for that. I think last semester was uniquely hard for a lot of people considering the free speech issues, and me as a Pride Senator, I had to deal with a lot of stuff regarding the Trans Day Remembrance, if y'all know those issues that were happening. But I would say one thing that I proposed to all of LegCab, the speech I made last week was, hey, we messed up last semester, but we can acknowledge that and let's start on a clean state. basically I said to all of them, I want your concrete plans, detailed, I don't want abstract ideas, and I want us all to reflect on the speeches that we made when we were running for these positions last year. Those plans were gonna be made, and then we were going to talk about them, put them all in the open so that everyone in LegCab knows that everyone's doing, so really having that communication. So if like, say me and you were both in LegCab, you presented that plan to me, that would give me the ability to a couple weeks later follow up with you on that plan. What's your progress looking like? And that also opens up the door for that collaboration and that help if we do need it. So one is that really having those plans in the open and making sure people actually have those plans. And then two was really a big thing for me is keeping Senate leadership accountable within our LegCab. Like me as someone that's in LegCab, I need to be keeping other people that are in LegCab accountable. I need to be keeping the speaker accountable. There's things that we should have had done, quite frankly, last semester and we don't have them done. So really sometimes resorting to these things, if you don't have them done, we do need to move to internal complaints. We do need to remove removal positions, and I don't think people should be scared of that. Quite frankly, if you're doing your job, you shouldn't be scared of that. But yeah, I think if that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you. I yield.
Coolio, Officer Diggs.
Hi, Barry. Okay, I'm gonna have two questions for you. How would you describe your leadership and advocacy style?
So actually, my advocacy style has been a source of contention in this space, but I will say that I would describe my advocacy style as honest and aggressive. Not in inherently a negative way. I know we say aggressive and people are like, oh, let's get about it. But like, honestly, like these are issues that are affecting our students. I think we do need to be a little more hard-headed about it. Like, why are we not being aggressive? Like, this is stuff that matters to students. This is affecting students. We need to be aggressive in our efforts. I know a lot of you, I think I'm more of an on-the-ground person. Like, I'll use a bunch of examples from last year. Last year as a freshman, I went to the administration building sit-in where we got all that stuff done. Even this year, who was the one that planned the freaking fall address protest? That was me. To protest the free speech issues, and that literally got pulled back that day. So I think really like a hands-on approach, really emphasizing like on the grounds rather than me just sitting up at a podium and be like, oh no, like please don't do this. Like you will see me out there actually doing things. And I think my leadership is really collaborative. Like I realize that I do have there is so many things I don't know. There's so many experiences that I don't live in. So really making sure that that leadership is a collective one rather than I'm just telling you, or authoritative. Like I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here so you can tell me what you need.
That response actually answered my second question, so I'll yield my time. Thank you.
Coolio, thank you. Senator Bichelle.
Hi, Farron. I just have a couple questions for you tonight. Are you aware of the Speaker Pro Tempor's role specifically in legislative cabinet?
I would say yes. I've read over the job description a lot.
Perfect. Are you aware on how to chair Senate, and do you feel comfortable if the time needs for you to chair Senate?
I would say obviously I'm not as prepared to chair Senate as someone like Brooke would be, but obviously I know the general ins and outs of what to do. I think people that have never chaired Senate before do a perfect job, such as Sarah. I don't think I would have trouble with it.
And then last question, are you aware of the strike policy?
Yes, I am. With attendance you're talking about?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect, thank you.
I yield.
Coolio, Senator Hernandez.
Hi, Farron. I was just wondering if you had any new ideas about how we can make the onboarding process smoother or just more inclusive.
I think one thing for me is a lot of people in the onboarding process really do miss like crucial information, because again, like this is so much information really being presented to you. So I think an emphasis on the specific things that we really need to nail into senators that are joining. So that's that, mostly those policies that would cause you to get a strike. So again, that emphasis, and then really making sure, I think a big part of it is following up with people. Like I can have that onboarding meeting with you and I can give you all this information, but if I never follow up with you or never ask you again, is it really on you if that information leaves your brain? It's not. It's my job to be educating you all on that onboarding process. So I think really following up is a good thing. That's something that's my idea.
That's phenomenal. Thank you so much. I yield.
Awesome. Are there any other questions for our candidate? Senator Corey.
Thank you, Senator. First of all, I commend you on your great R&R thing that you sent to us. I've read that, it was awesome. I love your passion. I guess my question is, can you, the Speaker pro tempore position is a kind of an assistance position. You are a bright, shining star. Are you able to kind of dim your light in the sort of mundane roles of Speaker pro tempore from time to time? You know, I mean, I don't want you to shut off that light, but I mean, there are times that it's kind of not that exciting, and the previous occupant of the office was very helpful and just neutral. Can you do that? Thank you.
I would say yes. Obviously not all of you know, but I served on elections committee last year where impartiality, being impartial was a huge part of the job. I think, obviously when you see me in my associate senator role, would I say I really show those impartiality? No, obviously not. I was associate senator, but I think really coming to this role, I know that there's going to be differences. I know that I do have to remain impartial, and I think that's something I can 100% do. While I may not personally disagree or agree with everyone in this room, that doesn't mean I won't be advocating for you. I won't be making sure you get that help. And honestly, like, even with my career goals, like helping people is something I really want to do. Like assisting people is really what I want to do in life. So I don't think I would have any trouble in terms of assisting anyone in this role.
Thank you, I yield.
We have Senator Vega.
Hello, Farron. Advocacy is clearly something that's very important to you, and I feel as though, and it's obviously very important to a lot of people in this room. However, I feel as though you're one of the few people that actually do something about it, and that means a lot to me. So, can you tell us a little more about the initiatives you would like to take on as Speaker Pro Tempore?
Yeah, so I have made goals even for my recruitment and retention, because honestly, like, I was really frustrated with how first semester went, especially in terms of the powers that is really invested in the Senate. Like, really, we are such a powerful branch, but we just haven't been able to really take a hold of that. So I think my goals for me is, again, that accountability within Senate leadership. I think if we start inside and we build it stronger out, then I think a lot of these issues that we're facing externally will be solved much easier. So one would be that accountability and leadership within LegCab. Two, what I really want is, especially in terms of the budget, is really having people realize our power. Like, Senate is not meant to be this roadblock or barrier in the budget. Like, we are supposed to be looking over this.
Unfortunately, we're out of time, Senator Vega.
I wish to add a minute 25 to the clock for the current speaker.
There is an additional person after you, if that would influence the amount of time.
I would like to motion to make 5 minutes. Add 5 minutes to the clock.
Is there any dissent to this motion? Hearing none, 5 more minutes.
Okay, I kind of lost my train of thought there. I don't even remember what I was saying. Yeah, the leadership and accountability is one thing, and really have people realizing the full power of Senate, like what we can actually do. I think by making this body stronger, again, like we can be able to solve our external issues, like, and I think one of those is increased collaboration between senators. I think I look around this room and honestly I wonder, like, which one of y'all have talked to each other? Like, I feel like when I'm going around, I know all of you, but do you know each other? So I think really increasing that collaboration and strengthening the Senate, that leadership and accountability. And I think honestly, while those are only two or three goals, those are like a small number of goals, but realistically, it's gonna take a lot of work to achieve them. So I think, again, like being realistic with the goals that we will set for each other, ourselves, and like we do only have a semester left. Even a year is a short time to achieve a lot of these goals. So I think that's a fine amount.
Thank you. Good luck, and I yield my time.
Chair McLaughlin.
One of the Speaker Pro Tempor's additional duties is maintaining the Senate's budget book in the event that the Budgetary Affairs Chair is not able to do that. How comfortable do you feel in keeping track of our finances?
So in reading over the job descriptions, I actually looked at that. I was like, I wasn't aware like from previous Speaker Pro Tempors that was part of the job. I would say in terms of budget knowledge, I obviously don't have the same amount of knowledge as you, Jared, but I would say I am comfortable, and I think I'm also in a position to really ask for help. So obviously, I'm not gonna know the same amount of knowledge as you, but it's really about, okay, what can I do now to get over that hump? So again, like I can't promise 100% it's gonna be the greatest budget thing you've ever seen. But again, I'm gonna try, and I'm going to enlist the help of others to make sure we can get to that point.
Thank you. I yield.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for our candidate at this time? Seeing none, if you could take a step outside and send the next person in.
Thank you.
Sorry, y'all. I have to do my notebook. I have nothing without this thing. Hi, everyone. If you don't know me already, my name is Miriam. I'm an associate senator representing Warner College, and I'm the Women in Social Justice Caucus chair. Above all else, I am a people person. I'm a huge extrovert, and my biggest goal in life is to create community in every space that I'm in. This team is so unique in the sense that we all represent different interests, but at the end of the day, we're here together. We collaborate, vote for each other's bills, show up to each other's committees. We are passionate, smart, and driven, and we show up for each other in causes we believe in. That being said, this community is very insular. If we want to have a space that is truly representative of all students, that students at large know about and respect, we need leadership whose reach expands outside of this space and, above all else, is for students first. I like to pride myself in being a jack of all trades. I'm a watershed science and sustainability major with a minor in geology, so I live and breathe Warner College. That's not my only home, however. I'm a member of Rocky Mountain Student Media through KCSU. I conduct soil science research with the USDA, and I work in the Office of Admissions. While I wear a lot of hats, the places I thrive the most in are people and solution-focused roles. For example, last fall, the formerly named DEI committee, now Student Success Committee, for my department had a problem. They were struggling to reach undergraduates and kept having events or programs that weren't super successful. But when they brought on myself and Jack Markle, as undergraduate representatives, we got to work. We started hosting monthly coffee and craft hours, events in which undergraduates could meet, interact, and network with professors and grad students in a way that's far less intimidating than office hours or a career fair. Additionally, last spring, I successfully advocated for undergraduate student town halls, meaning that Warner undergrads had the opportunity to ask questions about changes in funding, programs, etc., directly to college leaders instead of going through a confusing and disheartening game of telephone. Lastly, I find it impossible to ignore the real heart of this role, service. In many ways, I have devoted my life to service. In addition to the 450 hours I spent in AmeriCorps, a federal service organization, I have spent my time at ASCSU serving members of my caucus, my college council, and most of all, my constituents. Finally, as your Speaker Pro Tempore, I promise to serve you. Thank you.
Thank you, that will now be moving into a period of Q&A by first raised placard. I don't know which one was first. Let's go with Senator Eddington.
Hi, so you mentioned having a really busy schedule. I wonder how you fit in the additional responsibilities of the Speaker Pro Tem to that. And if you feel that you have the time on your plate to, I don't know, like give more slice of the pie to it.
Absolutely. So I currently work 2 jobs. I work in admissions, like I mentioned, and I also work at Ramshorn Marketplace. And so if I get elected for this role, I'll be planning on putting in my resignation for one of those jobs for Ramshorn Marketplace to be able to devote more time to this space.
Thank you, Adil.
Thank you, Senator Singleton.
Nice. I have a couple questions for you. The first one is, how long will you be able to spend in this time as Speaker Pro Tem for?
I'm planning on staying until the end of the semester.
Okay, cool. And then my next question is, how well do you know the Constitution?
I have been studying it the entire time that I've been in ASCSU. I would consider that I, know the basics pretty well, especially when it comes to this body, specifically the legislative branch.
Cool. And then my last question for you is, are there any things new that you would like to bring to being a Speaker Pro Tempore that you haven't seen in the past, or you'd like to see more in the future?
Of course, absolutely. I do plan on implementing a few changes. The first thing is I want to kind of prioritize academics in this space. That's something that on occasion is almost disregarded. I want to start doing weekly study halls. This is a time where we can all come together, teach ourselves, as we say in admissions, RAM support Rams. I personally have gained so much from studying with my peers, from even gaining community through academic success. This also can act as a time that's a little bit less pressure than like scheduling a one-on-one. Like I know emails can be horrible and everyone is scared of talking to leaders. So this can be a time where you can come up, ask questions, we can collaborate. This will also be open to outside of ASCSU. And I've also been considering hosting it outside of the chambers to increase students who are interested to have an open forum for debate, or they have any questions or something.
Very cool, thank you, I yield.
Thank you, Senator Vega.
With the question that Senator Singleton just asked, you answered my question. Basically, I was going to ask, clearly students are your top priority, and that's the way it should be. We work for the students, not above them. We work for them, and I appreciate that you mentioned that, and so I yield to redundancy.
Thank you, Senator Vega. Senator Bouchard.
Hi, Miriam. I have a couple questions for you tonight. Are you aware of the role the Speaker Pro Tempore has in legislative cabinet?
Yes. So as my former role of chair, I was technically a member of legislative cabinet. However, I was never officially onboarded, so I actually didn't know that that was a role that I had. And so this semester, I've been, first of all, interacting with members of legislative cabinet to make sure I can attend meetings, make sure that I can be involved in those processes, and yes, I'm willing to accept that responsibility.
Perfect. Are you aware of the role the Speaker Pro Tempore has overall as well as specifically in the Senate?
Absolutely, yes. I'm more than capable of handling any sort of, spreadsheet, email situation. Like I said, I am a scientist, so anything data related is kind of like my favorite thing ever. So I'm more than comfortable taking on that role.
Lovely. When the occasion raises, do you feel comfortable in chairing Senate?
Yes, I do.
Perfect. And lastly, are you aware of the strike policy?
Yes, I am. Would you want an explanation or?
Whatever you feel like answering.
Yes, I believe in the strike policy, and I do plan on enforcing it as that is part of my role. I will say, if we are working on bylaws, I would be open to reforming that policy as, personally, I think that it could definitely use some reform.
Sounds great. Thank you very much. I yield.
Thank you. Chair McLaughlin.
You know what, I'll just talk with my mouth. Are you comfortable dealing with the Senate's finances in the event that I'm not able to?
Yes. As you know, we've been talking last semester in budgetary committee. Finances and money is something that is very important to me, obviously. I think it should be important to everyone. And it's something that I really nerd out about. And so I'm more than comfortable taking on that responsibility,
Thank you.
of course.
Chair Casada Stoner.
You mentioned making some reforms to the strike policy. Would you like to expand on that possibly?
Of course. So when, joining this role as an associate senator, obviously there are, office hours, committee requirements, and I do think that is important. However, these are unpaid positions, and we are asking a lot of our students to, spend 5 hours outside of the session every single week, and sometimes in addition to committee times. Like, that's a huge load for unpaid and obviously extremely academically motivated, driven individuals, as we all are in this space. I plan, obviously not directly related to this role, but in my role as a student leader to help reform that policy, bring the office hour policy down to 3 hours for senators and 2 hours for associate senators.
And then expanding on that question, last one, I promise. Sometimes we have trouble getting people to committees and caucuses. How would do you think the reform would help in bringing people in because it would be less overwhelming, or what is your thought process?
Yeah, for sure. I actually do think lowering the office hour policy, as almost unlikely as it may seem, will help increase committee and caucus attendance. Something that we've been seeing in the past, leadership is strikes not being handed out or office hours not being enforced. And so obviously this means that people are not attending caucuses, people are not attending committees, and they're more or less, they're not receiving any sort of consequence for that. If we lower the policy and then obviously enforce it, it will increase participation as everyone is going to things, while also decreasing the workload of students, especially the ones who, were following the correct policies.
Brief point of clarification, the office hour requirement for senators is currently 3 hours with the additional committee hour and your constituency hour. The same is reflective for associates. They weren't enforced last semester, but they were enforced the year prior. Just to clarify.
Is it not 5?
It's 5 total hours.
Oh, 5. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Well, then I mean 1 total hour other than the committee hour in the other hour. So, my bad. That's a clarification issue.
Cool, Chair McLaughlin, your question was answered. You're good. Senator Vega, I believe you're next on the list.
Sorry, I forgot to ask this last time. Can you tell us a little more about your shared governance views and opinions, and how you would like to incorporate inter-branch collaboration in this role?
Absolutely. As I mentioned before, I'm not scared of interacting with administration and higher ups. In my role, even in a department DEI committee, I was able to make meaningful change on Warner College, which is pretty cool, something I'm really proud of, and something that I'm definitely going to bring to this role. I do pride myself in, having connections in other branches, and I do plan on reinforcing and building new connections throughout this role and throughout my time here at ACSU.
Awesome, thank you. I yield my time.
Coolio. With that, does anyone else have Senator Gordon?
Thank you for putting yourself forward. You were previously with the artist formerly known as DEI. What is your confidence level in your ability to discharge your duties impartially as Speaker Pro Tempore?
Do you mean recusing myself if there's a conflict of interest, or?
Correct, and just being in the more service role, helping senators regardless of whether you agree or disagree with them.
Absolutely. I take pride in my impartiality. Again, as an AmeriCorps member, you're not allowed to be political. It's very strict, and same while my role at KCSU, you can't talk politics, you can't talk shop. We have very specific rules. Those are rules that I intend to keep, especially in this space, in this office space. I'm not perfect, but I will be trying my very hardest to keep my personal opinion out of it, to remain impartial, especially on this bench. When I'm working, I will be impartial, or I will recuse myself.
Thank you. I like it when you depart from your prepared script, just a little bit. Thank you. I yield.
Of course, thank you.
Coolio. Any other questions? Seeing none, if you could go ahead and take a step outside.
Thank you.
Before we get into things, the accessibility note from the folks online to mute your mic when you're not talking. Thank you.
Cool, yeah, with that, we're gonna go ahead and move into a period of discussion debate and all of our candidates by first raised black period. So,
Hi, everyone. I actually kind of have a lot to say. So I'm going to start with Chair Menanti. So in this space, I've heard Chair Menanti kind of making comments about like people's weight, people's age during ASUSU events while acting as a senator. I don't think I really need to get into why that's inappropriate, but I would be really hesitant to elect a leader who behaves that way. Additionally, I worry that his longevity may actually be kind of a thorn in his side here, because he may have seen times where tensions were higher between exec and senate, and I think that informs how he has some of the conversations in the ASUSU space, where some of the things he says can be taken poorly and may like seem like taking jabs at people in exec and the roles they do. And that's feedback that I've heard from members of exec. For Farron, I'd love to see a leader who is known and presented, sorry, I wrote this down, so I'm just gonna read it, who is known and present like Farron. Claire mentioned like that we would benefit from seeing reform during gallery input, and if we want an organization capable of change and growth, one that works with other branches, then it feels like Farron would be an amazing candidate, an amazing fit for this. Not only can she turn on the switch to be professional, which we saw tonight, but she also has a very human side when you need a shoulder, when you need somebody to genuinely talk to. So I think she'd be amazing, and she brings like such an eagerness and a joy when she's in these roles that it would be hard to deny that Farron is really good, but I don't have anything bad to say about Olivia Frisky and Chair Hill either. I think they would also be amazing. Like, the only concerns I have are the time constraints, but listening to their speeches, like, it seems like those three all would be like amazing candidates and amazing fits for this position. I yield.
thank you, Senator Eddington. Senator Michelle.
I would like to share my support with our candidate Olivia Frisky. I know Olivia via this organization and outside this organization. She is my dear friend and she is the kindest person I've ever met. If you are ever going through anything, any struggles, any concerns, anything you just, or if you, even if you just want to talk with her, she is always there, will always have time to listen to you, and she is so smart, so sweet, and she's very good at managing her time. This girl works several jobs and she shows up to everything whenever she can. She's very academic, she focuses, she makes time for her friends, and she makes time for this organization at the same time through and through. I love Olivia. I yield.
Thank you, Senator. Officer Diggs.
I want to start by saying that I think we have an amazing lineup of candidates, having worked with every single person who's up. They're all wonderful people. That being said, I would like to voice my support for Farron. Farron is an incredibly dedicated person who puts 100% into everything she does. She's definitely one of those people, how you do anything is how you do everything. And she really lives by that. Just last night? Yes, just last night, Farron and I had a meeting with a Committee for Social Justice through the School of Social Work until like 7:30 p.m. She's consistently meeting with students for recruitment and retention on weekends. She's one of the most organized and disciplined people I know. If you look at her Outlook calendar, it's like crazy. I won't say too much just because I am a personal friend of hers, but I can speak to how she shows up, and she always shows up authentically in every single space. And I think, I'll also say this, I think during these unprecedented times, and times like these where we have been having patterns of difficulty with working with CSU admin, with them not engaging in shared governance, I think someone with, as she put it, her more aggressive advocacy style is exactly the spark and the catalyst that we need for change in this organization. So I'd like to voice my support for her. Yield.
Thank you, Officer. Senator Bone.
Hi, first of all, I want to say that everyone spoke very eloquently. I thought everyone did a great job presenting with their speeches and everything. I would like to say, as someone who is a new senator this year, and didn't know anyone going into this organization, the only two people who are on this lineup who have spoken to me, period, are Enoch and Farron. And I love Enoch. I think he's great. Part of me selfishly wants him to stay as the Oval Caucus chair. And Farron is phenomenal. I personally can attest to the fact that she is constantly helping people. She recently reached out to me, and like without any prompting was like, hey, I wanna help you with developing a college council for intra-university. This is something that has never existed before, and it is an extremely difficult task to take on. And she did that willingly without me asking. So I just wanted to give my support and say that I firsthand have experienced how great she is. I yield.
Thank you, Senator. Chair McLaughlin.
I would also like to give my support to Farron. I believe of the group, she is the most competent for this role. Not to say that the other candidates are not competent, but I believe that she will put the most energy into this role. I've seen her do a lot of work in legislative cabinet and her role and just everywhere in this space the past at least 6 months. And I believe she's the best fit for this role. I also think one major advantage she has against the other candidates is that she is likely the only one that will be able to and will actively hold legislative cabinet accountable. I'm looking at Brooke because a lot of the comments have been very subtly aimed at Brooke, but I believe that Farron has the ability to tell us when we're screwing things up. She will get on our cool. That's French, don't look it up. And she will be able to make sure that we all do our duties, which I know it's not an official duty of the Speaker Pro Tempore, but given the amount of work that the Speaker has, I would argue that, is it an official role?
To clarify the role of the Speaker Pro Tempore, which is an unfortunate thing to do like hours later. Half of the role is the accountability of senators, strikes, all that jazz. The other half, what I like to call it, is being the Speaker's right and left hand man. So you're that support role, you're stepping in, you're telling them when they're dumb. It's lit.
And I believe Farron has the capability to be the Speaker's strong arm in this case, to make sure legislative cabinet is doing their job. So that is why I urge you all to vote for Farron. Yield.
Thank you, Senator Taylor.
I believe that we've all made the points that we wanted to make and nobody's changing anybody's minds, and we still have quite a bit on the agenda, so I move to previous question.
Dissent.
Hearing dissent, we'll go ahead and vote on this via voice vote. All those in favor of moving to the next thing, say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Division, we'll go ahead and do this by placard. Everyone in favor of previous question, please raise your placard. Raise them high, please. Thank you. You can go ahead and put those down. All those opposed, please raise your placard. Cool, yeah, you can go ahead and put those down. Any abstentions? You guys can go ahead and put those down. Give me 1 second.
clarification, the timer wasn't paused. So where would we be on time if we continue?
2-ish minutes is the consensus that I've gathered from the Senate. Jared, is 15 out of 25 2/3?
0.6.
Cool. We're not moving on. We're still in the same thing we were in. Senator Vega.
Sorry, it's technically still AM, right?
That's my bad.
Technically, yes.
You haven't yielded. You haven't yielded.
Oh, I yield.
Thanks, Senator Taylor. Senator Leary.
No, it wasn't me.
Okay, sorry. I also just wanted to speak in favor of Farron. I'm also fairly newer than others in here, and I've never talked to Olivia personally. The only time that I did talk to her one time was when I approached her. Farron has been so good to me and in a way that she approached me, and she always continues conversation and is accountable to that. Enoch the same. And then I've talked to Miriam a handful of times, and I think that Farron would be best for this role, and for the sake of time, I'm gonna yield.
Cleo, check us out, Stoner.
I think that the Speaker Pro Tempore is someone who holds all of legislative cabinet accountable with the Speaker of the Senate. I know that we have said that over and over, but truly I think accountability is something that we need to really reinforce this semester. And I do think that Farron would do that. So I will yield to redundancy.
Cleo, Associate Senator Markle?
I just wanted to vocalize my support for Fair Hill. I know that she'd make time for her role and her people, and specifically, I've seen her in so many positions, just throughout my time here, and I know she's always excelled in them, and I can see her with this role. And I also loved her point about reform on the strike policy. I know it would, obviously, I'd show my support for that, but I also know she'd be very, strict and dedicated to enforcing that. But also yielding to redundancy in terms of Farron just being a good role for this position. I yield.
Coolio, with there only being 13 seconds left, does anyone want to speak? Senator Vega.
Can we add time or no?
You can't technically.
Technically, I don't believe so, according to the Bible.
Okay.
Or can? Sorry, I misheard Gio, and then I
I literally just need 2.5 minutes.
make the motion.
Motion to 2.5 minutes, to add 2.5 minutes to the clock.
Is there any dissent? Hearing dissent, we'll go ahead and vote on this via voice. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? The nays have it. We will be extending time and will now be moving out of discussion and debate and into a period of voting. As this is an election and there are multiple candidates, we'll be doing this via secret ballot. Gio will be passing out the ballots, write down one person, and then return it up here at the front. And if you can turn on your...
Yeah, because they're all senators, right?
I would entertain a motion for a recess if that's something people are interested in. Senator Singleton,
I motion to have a 5-minute recess.
is there any dissent? Hearing none, 5-minute recess.
You're free to vote.
Oh, really?
No, I'm gonna do, sorry.
I know that I'm
Of course. I think it's too funny not to nominate now.
I'm dying.
I mean, no, I didn't get time.
But I will.
Oh, it's okay.
Sorry, I didn't get in line. I picked 3 on there, that's okay, right? I thought we were doing ranked choice voting. I'm just kidding.
I've been staring.
Graduating. I know, I'd love to,
Can I get a piece of paper? Can I borrow that?
Could you borrow this one? Sharpie, I should say.
I just really like bear.
God forbid they have that on the house.
What are you doing?
Try almost, for real, bring it back. Okay, that makes some sense. Oh my
Joe, middle name Biden. I'll do yours too. Yeah.
Oh,
Are there any votes left out there? Collecting votes. The poll is ending.
What was number 4's name? For the last one, yeah. Miriam.
Gio, you wanted us to put our names on there, right?
You didn't hear that from me.
Literally.
My fair and
These technically are supposed to live with the speaker budget for 2 weeks and then we announce the vote count, but we don't have that tonight, so this is now like you.
Should we bring them up for the announcement?
How much time do we have?
We ran out about 3 seconds ago.
Look at your wearing skirt. Yes. Missing your pants, you
Julio, calling everyone to order. Howdy, everyone. Congratulations, Karen.
We should probably go back to I don't know, tell me what to do.
You have to get sorted.
Stay?
Yes.
Okay. I got it.
I state your name.
I, Farron Jadon,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to defend and uphold
to defend and uphold
the rules and regulations
the rules and regulations
set forth by the Constitution
set forth by the Constitution
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
and will rightfully perform
and will rightfully perform
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congrats, Farron.
Before we continue, our elections chair, the motion to make.
Jared's helping me, it's really scary. I would like to make a motion to move Bill 5535, the reallocation, to the top of old business, just so we can all chat while our minds are still a little fresher.
Do you want it at the top of old business or do you want it at the top of confidence business?
Top of old business.
Coolio. With that, is there any dissent to this motion? Hearing none, it'll be reflected. Chair Rivera.
I would also like to motion to add Bill 5534, I guess, second. Yeah, second, of old business due to time constraints right now. That both authors have to leave the sewers.
Coolio. Is there any dissent to that motion? Hearing none, bills 5535 and 5534 will both be at the top of old business. With that, we'll now be moving into the election of the Housing Caucus Chair. Are there any nominations for this position? Senator Singleton.
I nominate Senator Eddington for the position.
Do you approve of this nomination?
No.
Coolio. With that, we'll go ahead and move into the next item on the agenda, the election of the Accessibility Caucus Chair. Senator Leary.
A motion for Harper Axelman, member of Accessibility Caucus, to have the ex officio race.
Coolio, just for, I've never seen this before, so as clarification, to give someone ex officio rights who isn't granted them immediately, it's just a 2/3 vote of the Senate, so we'll go ahead and do this by voice vote. All those in favor of giving this individual Right, say aye. All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Cool, they have ex officio rights. Leo, do I hear any nominations for the position? Officer Diggs.
I'd like to nominate Leary.
Leary, do you accept this nomination?
Yes, I do.
Leo, are there any other nominations for this position? Seeing none, Leary, you wanna go ahead and join us at the front?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Leary. I use they, them, and he in pronouns. I'm a fourth year in Ecosystem Science Sustainability with a minor in Diversity and Inclusion and Natural Resources. I'm currently a center for the Student Disability Center. I serve as the Accessibility Officer for University Affairs. I'm a member of the Committee for Disabled Student Accessibility, the Dial-A-Ride Transit Accessibility Committee through Transport, and I was recently sworn in to the City of Fort Collins Disability Advisory Board. I've been attending Accessibility Caucus since the summer of 2023, and I was the Social Media and Outreach Officer for the 2024-25 year. I want to read to you Article 1, Section A of the Accessibility Caucus bylaws. Accessibility Caucus is an investigative interbranch caucus with the goal to identify, review, and evaluate concerns at Colorado State University and the Fort Collins community related to accessibility and disability justice. During my time as an officer, I worked with the city on upgrading the signage on the transfer buses that relate to the disability seating to address issues such as eligibility, lack of Spanish translation, and missing or damaged signage. On the left, you can see a sign that was previously on the buses. It was extremely damaged for years. It was supposed to read, "Priority seating, please vacate these seats to make room for senior citizens or people with disabilities." On the right, you can see signs that are ineligible because of the darkness. They were taken at night, that photo. And sorry, I'm nervous. But they also had Spanish dark translation, but they were not legible. During my, within the month, Transport installed temporary signage using my recommendations. So you can see on the left, the signs read wheelchair seating area. Securements are located below these seats with the Spanish translation. The next sign reads, "Please offer these seats to elderly and persons with disabilities." And then you can see that these were legible both during the daytime and at nighttime. Both pictures depict that. And then last year, the new signage was fully installed. The first sign reads, "Priority seating area, please give your seat to older adults and persons with disabilities," followed by the Spanish translation. And then next, the wheelchair securement area, followed by the Spanish translation. And then the third sign reads, "Mobility devices can tip when the bus is in motion. For your safety, please transfer to a bus seat before departure if able," followed by the Spanish translation. And this photo was taken at night, so you can see that they're eligible at night. All right. Another issue I pinpointed was during the entrance upgrades that CSU was working on. There were some issues with new poles blocking working buttons and creating barriers. Here you can see a pole that was installed in between two buttons here in the LSC. This created a visual barrier. I saw people unable to see that like this button was there and then unable to use one of the doors. And then this next slide shows a button right outside here in that entrance. This button was partially covered by this pole, and it was basically inaccessible because you would have to reach all the way around this pole. And then that is not realistic for people who might be paralyzed. So I investigated and found out that Remodel Construction Services was working on an entrance project, and some of their parts came in faulty, so only the poles were installed. I was able to meet with the project manager in charge and explain to him the issues I was seeing. He was able to remove the poles that were in the way and move the button that was blocked. So in this photo, you can see that the button was moved, it was onto the pole, and now it was accessible. But this was temporary, and obviously you can go out there and see that the full-blown large buttons were installed. And then after making this connection, I was able to set up a meeting for Accessibility Caucus with leaders from facilities management, including Assistant Director of Construction and Remodel Services, Dan Kozlowski, and co-chair of the Inclusive Physical Virtual Campus Committee, Jessica Kramer. They were able to share their years of experience at CSU, answer our questions, and pinpoint the long-term issues with accessibility. During last spring, as an associate senator, I advocated for transport to install truncated domes on the CSU Transit Center. Truncated domes are tactile pavement surfaces of curb cuts and crosswalks that blind individuals use to navigate traffic. So you can see on the image, in the yellow is the truncated domes. You can see a blind person using their cane to see that, or not to see, but to feel that those are there. And then in the other photo, there's a bird's eye view of the CSU Transit Center. This is an older photo. I think they did some remodeling over the summer, but there's still no truncated domes. Currently, the downtown and south transit centers both have these, as well as most of the MAX bus stops. Transport plans to make these upgrades when the weather is warmer this summer. Sorry. Additionally, through the Committee for Disabled Student Accessibility, I spearheaded a project to fund and install automatic openers on the Rams Against Hunger food pantry at the General Services Building. We were able to fund an accessible entrance and exit to serve the basic needs of disabled community members. This was completed mid-fall 2025. So in the image on the left, you can see the entrance. What's not depicted is also the exit also has a button. For the entrance, there's a button on the inside and the outside, and then the exit only has a button on the inside. And then on the right is the building plans from facilities management from Dan Kozlowski, and his thought plan when he was deciding on how to implement the buttons. Last year, I received a complaint from a constituent about an entrance in the LSC that was missed by the FACE project. The buttons were not updated and they were unable to access the main north entrance. I was able to bring this to Dan Kozlowski and acquire a quote. Last week, I met with Mike Ellis, the director of the LSC, to discuss this upgrade, and I will continue to advocate for this entrance to be completed. Last fall, I started working with SLICE on an accessibility training that I would like to be published on the LSC website as a resource to all registered student organizations. In this training, there will be digital, physical, and event planning accessibility education materials, similar to the RSO President and Financial Officer training. Once this is completed, I would like to legislate this into job descriptions at ASUSU so that we can reflect the regulations from our Constitution. Additionally, the speaker and I have been working on legislation to further strengthen our accessibility guidelines, including legislating the ratification written card into our bylaws. This was implemented this past fall. My biggest project I've been working on has been to create a physical accessibility fund that the administration would allocate annually. This money would have the focus of accessibility and addressing the issues within existing facilities. Many buildings on campus were built before the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, which was passed in July of 1990. Therefore, they were grandfathered in and do not have to comply. This fund has the potential to systematically change how we address accessibility barriers on this campus. Currently, many projects such as the FACE project are sitting around, waiting for funding. Having a budget specifically focused on accessibility would enable us to pull from it and update classrooms, offices, entrances, and bathrooms as needed, with the goal of being proactive and addressing current concerns and complaints. I want to remind you of the bylaws that I read earlier. Accessibility Caucus is an investigative interbranch caucus with the goal to identify, review, and evaluate concerns at Colorado State University and the Fort Collins community related to accessibility and disability justice. This type of detailed investigation and problem solving is what we need in Accessibility Caucus in order to truly serve our disabled students, and is a core part of what Accessibility Caucus was founded upon. Through these projects and meetings, I have made strong connections both within CSU and with the city. If elected, I would like to bring those connections along with my ongoing project to Accessibility Caucus and set us up for success for years to come. I'm asking you to vote for me today so that we can take action and facilitate a productive semester with the priority of serving disabled students. Thank you for your time.
Before we move into it, I am constitutionally obligated to announce that we only have 26 minutes left of confidence clock. Carrie. Yeah.
Officer Diggs. Did you want a Q&A or did you want a motion for that?
I was gonna motion for more time, but we can, once we run out of time, we'll cross that bridge when I get to.
Okay, with that, we'll now be entering a period of Q&A for our candidate, Senator Singleton.
All right, I only have one question for you. Do you feel confident in your ability to be able to complete all the tasks required for caucus chair?
Yes, I planned around last spring, and I fully read through the bylaws and that portion of the bylaws. And I've been in Accessibility Caucus since summer 2023. I literally was abroad visiting my grandma, and I joined a Zoom, and Semi Trout was there talking about testing buttons on campus and walking around, and I was halfway across the earth. But yeah, I was there through Semi Trout's through his chair time. I don't know words. Chairship? Yeah. And then also through Jess's and also through Morgan, and I helped Morgan a lot, and we worked really hard to understand what is currently going on at CSU, and I think that through meetings I do have a grasp on these things. Today I was also approached by the constituent that was complaining about the entrance, and he was also saying that I should go to the IPPCC on Friday and talk to them, and because I met with Brandon Hamlin yesterday, and there were some pretty good conversations going on there.
All right, thank you. I yield.
Thank you. Chair McLaughlin.
Since I think a no confidence vote is unlikely, I would like to move to previous question.
Second.
Dissent.
Hearing dissent, we'll go ahead and vote on this via voice vote. All those in favor of previous question, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Nay. Division, we'll be using placards. All those in favor, please raise your placards. You can go ahead and put those down. All those opposed, please raise your placards. Cleo, you can go ahead and put those placards down. Any abstentions? Okay, with a vote of 17 to 5 to 2, previous question, we're moving on to the next thing. So maybe if you could take a step out. Cool, we'll now be entering a period of discussion to make that first raised placard. Chair Gray.
I'm gonna make things a lot worse for myself, but I have a lot of concerns about this candidate and their qualifications for this position. I'm gonna keep this pretty brief. If anyone has any further questions or would like me to elaborate on any of this, I strongly encourage you to speak with me after. My overarching concern about this candidate is their method of collaboration. In this position, working with the team in a respectful manner is crucial. I found that this candidate has been unwilling to work with individuals in this space because of previous and old conflicts. This behavior is fundamentally incompatible with the beliefs and efforts of the caucus. Nothing about us without us is the caucus's purpose. Purposefully keeping information about projects that belong to the caucus and being unwilling to work with anyone directly contradicts our goal of inclusion. This candidate has shown initiative on previous projects, but any discourse between them and others is not held in a respectful manner. The quality of a chair isn't held in just the efficiency of projects, but also the way that the caucus represents itself to the CSU community. In the past, they have publicly called out myself and others during inappropriate times and spaces. Their behavior has been consistent and has played a significant role in my stepping down. This is not a quality that I believe any senator, caucus chair, or ASCSU as a whole should uphold. Again, keeping this short, I encourage everyone to think of this space that we want ASCSU to have in a welcoming and progressive environment. And with that, I yield.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Eddington.
Okay, I wrote a little something. So, while it's undeniable that Leary does good work for accessibility, we need somebody in this space who wants to function as a leader, who can collaborate while advocating, one who can positively navigate conflict and reach a resolution while still being able to work with whoever the conflict arose between. And I don't know if I see those qualities reflected well in Leary. If elected, I'd urge the body to hold Leary accountable and responsible to be respectful of people in this space while acting professional and fulfilling their role. I yield.
Thank you, Senator. Officer Diggs, I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. Okay. In the times that we're in right now, Leary is an individual who genuinely gives me hope for the future of our generation. Like, I think you all were here when he presented that presentation about recycling and composting. And I think their presentation speaks for itself, but I'm gonna say, I feel like there are cultural issues with this space and that we have a tendency to care more about how things are said or who is saying it than what is being said and more importantly, what is being done. As a business major, I'll speak as a business major, we measure people and we measure leaders off of effectiveness and efficiency. And I think Leary perfectly embodies both of those things. We talked a lot about seniority in all these elections, but seniority means nothing if you have nothing to show for it or no progress. And Leary's the opposite. They have immense progress. I mean, you saw on the slideshow, and I don't think it's wise to limit the progress that Leary will continue to do over personal conflicts. And I would say the results speak for themselves, and I give my full support to Leary.
Thank you. Do you yield?
Yes, I yield.
Awesome. Senator Emeritus Jennings.
Howdy, folks. I have a couple of points here to make. I served, I'm still sort of a part of the Accessibility Caucus since fall of 2023. I served as the vice chair under Sammy Trout. And one of the things that I want to kind of reiterate here is that I've worked with closely both Leary and Jess, and I think that if we allow one conflict between two people define whether or not we make progress in accessibility, I think we're going to run into some bigger issues. And I've had conversations and tried to facilitate conversations, and the reality is that maybe not every single person is going to get along, and maybe it got really messy. But I think that I would rather see action than perfection. And I think to echo the sentiment of then, all right, well, then let's look for accountability if there's a continuing issue. I do feel like this is more between two individuals than, and I think the greater good of the caucus is held in having a leader who can get stuff done. And I think that there's been a lot of miscommunication about where the conflict lies. And rather than try to solve all of that tonight, I'd like to see the caucus move forward because there's a lot of work to be done. For example, the Accessibility Lex, also known as the Accommodations Act, still has funding on the table, and we still have to make sure that our portable accessible walkways get ordered and addressed, and there's training and facilitation of how to use them and make them accessible to every entity on campus. So that has a sunset clause, and I just want to see things move. And I would be personally willing to have conversations with Leary if people feel like they are not will they don't want to have those conversations or are unable to address them personally. And I also want to highlight the use of the Conflict Resolution Center as a great way to facilitate conversations. You're seeing a shift in leadership, so you'll have more to ask from your legislative cabinet. You'll have someone who's going to hold LegCab accountable. So that's also another means to find that accountability. That's pretty much all that I have to say. I'd like to see the Accessibility Caucus not falter by the torch being passed, and let the past live in the past and move into a new era. Thank you. I yield.
Thank you, Senator. I'm not gonna try. Senator Bone.
Hi, first of all, I would like to say that I am someone who would call Leary a friend. So I am acknowledging that I do have a little bit of bias in this. That being said, I also acknowledge that Leary does have some interpersonal issues with some members of this body. And I think that those could have been addressed better. That being said, I do think that is something that we can work on as a group, as a collaboration. As Senator Eddington said, it is a big part of that is us holding them accountable, and I think that's something that is very doable. I also think that it is more important to focus on progress, and as the Accessibility Caucus chair, the job is to serve the students, which Leary has already gone above and beyond in doing without even holding the role. So I really believe that they will do a phenomenal job in continuing to serve our student body. And if the only issue with them is that there are some social things that need to work on, we can aid in that, and that is not the main purpose of this group. We're not a social organization. We are a organization that gets things done and helps our student body. Thank you, I yield.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Jesterberg.
Hi everyone, if I haven't got to meet you, my name's Annalise. I'm the vice chair for accessibility, so I wanted to put my 2 cents in. I think Leary will be amazing as the chair, but I can't go on and just knowing that majority of the conflicts that did happen within Accessibility Caucus were completely preventable, from the perspective of, at least from my side of things. I don't care exactly the details, but from my perspective, we were not able to get things done because they were unwilling to work with us. And I think that's just 2 cents that I think must be included and that everyone should know for the vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Luna.
I think this has been terribly misconstrued as a social or interpersonal issue. Right here, we're here to do work. That's why we come here. We come here to work for the students, and any and every action that Leary has done in this space has been from their senator's perspective. So if you want to see it as a personal issue, it can be, but ultimately, that is them working as a senator. That is them not willing to work with other senators as a senator. And that is something that we should consider. Sorry, were you good?
I would entertain a motion for more time. Does anyone want to make that motion? Senator Singleton?
I motion to add 5 minutes onto the discussion and debate.
Is there any dissent? Hearing none, 5 minutes will be added.
I think moving on to that, it is being misconstrued as a personal issue to one individual in this space, and that's completely false. I was a senator at a time too. I've worked on accessibility issues too. I've faced similar issues. The individual who has spoken has, and it's just rough wanting to fight for your constituents and have someone ultimately blockade that work. And that's not something that we should be working on here. Me personally, I've never, like, even if I don't agree with someone in a space, I'm never going to put them down. I'm never going to withhold information. I'm gonna provide resources, and that's what we need as a chair. And personally, I've not seen this person do that. And even as a constituent, I don't feel represented much at all. And I also it peeves me to have information withheld from me when I'm trying to also, help accessibility, or even as a constituent, learn more about accessibility issues and have that information withheld. It doesn't serve our students, which is what we're ultimately here for. And I just implore you to think of, yes, social issues happen, interpersonal issues happen, but we're here to do work. And if someone wants to have social, interpersonal issues above getting work done, maybe we should reconsider what we're doing here. I yield.
Thank you, Director Luna. Chair Rivera.
I've seen both sides of a lot of things, and I have also advocated for this space to be more, to hold more people accountable. And I have mentioned, and I talked to Speaker Reese about this, about issues that had happened in my committee that I completely disagreed with, that Senator Leary were a part of. But coming in as chair and knowing what I know, and my time at the state capitol, I know that there's a lot happening federally that we do not have time to waste, and we need someone who can advocate for these students. And I've thought about this, and we even talked about it to our advisor earlier, and we're like, what do we do, But I think I am in full agreement that Leary should take this space, and I'm also coming not only as a chair, but as a student who has a sister with disabilities. I think I've expressed this multiple times, but I have a sister who has Down syndrome, and I gotta watch out for her too, and the future generations who are gonna be coming to CSU. We don't have someone who can advocate and keep fighting these fights. We're not gonna go anywhere. Our rights are being stripped away, and I think that's something that we need to put into account right now. I also think that Senator Leary advocated for, I like to say, three individuals, myself being accounted, to be a part of a meeting with Rush Mike, and this meeting was about physical accessibility at CSU, and administration did not want to meet with us, but Senator Leary kept fighting for it. While I might not see the same viewpoints as them, and I do hope that they take full accountability, and we as a student body make sure that they're held accountable. I do want to just say that we should be thinking of students now who are going to be impacted on what's happening, because CSU is not doing anything about it. And I just want to say that we should be thinking about that more right now, because rights are going to be taken away, and this is only the beginning. Y'all can keep up with politics, and I think we mostly all do in this room, but let's be honest with ourselves and let's be real. We're fighting a big fight right now, and I yield my time.
Thank you, Senator Vega.
I want to make a couple points here. My first one being that I have worked with Larry in the past, specifically with the project with Dr. Mike Ellis. And I say this things with all respect and in the pursuit of the betterment of our association. One, I want to make sure that this is clear. The culture in this place, I completely agree. It definitely needs to work on. However, I do believe that how we say things is extremely important, and it's how we convey ourselves as a person. And I know I'm running out of time, but I want to say this. If we don't see ourselves as a social org, then I believe that we have the perfect answer.
Chair Monty.
How many people are on the speakers list? Okay, so more than 5. Anyone else wanna hop on the speakers list? Because I'm about to make a motion. I'll motion to exhaust the speakers list and give like 1 minute for people to hop on who want to hop on right now.
Is there any dissent to the motion?
Nominees running unopposed.
Well, the motion being to exhaust the speakers list, just meaning more people won't be added to the speakers list. But with dissent being heard, all those in favor of exhausting the speakers list say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? The ayes have it. And the speakers list will now be exhausted with the exception of anyone who wants to be added in the next minute. Okay.
I'm sorry if that was too broad of a timeline.
Senator Dusterberg, you're already on here. Senator Rivera, or Chair Rivera, did you also want to be added?
I think it's point of clarification or point of information. Would I be able to motion to take my bill off the agenda, or is this not the appropriate time?
Maybe give me like a little bit, but as soon as we're done with this. Okay, perfect, thank you. Cool, yeah. Cool, no one else wants to be added? Awesome, with that, the speakers list is now exhausted. Chair Hill. Actually, I forgot to let Esteban finish talking, but you're next.
No, you're all good. I was just gonna restart. If we don't see ourselves as a social organization, then I think we have a perfect answer as to why people don't know about ASCSU, why last year's election had 3% student turnout, and why people frankly hate the ASCSU. And to continue that, there have been far more than two conflicts with this person, and we all know that, and so I wanna make that crystal clear. This is not a one-person account, this is not even a two-person account. In fact, to me personally, I have had numerous people come up to me about this person, and has been the person that has been by far the most complained about. Again, I say these things with full respect, and genuinely trying to pursue a better association and a better Senate, not because for any personal reasons, and I want to make that extra clear. I yield my time.
Thank you, now Chair Hill.
Thank you. I'm just like a little bit confused. I think like we've been doing a lot of beating around the bush, but like, would anyone be willing to clarify of like any specific like issues, like obviously not going into crazy details, but like any sort of like, you know, lack of professionalism, like I just wanna make an informed choice.
Point of information, if you want to add.
Unfortunately, the speakers list is exhausted, so no one else can.
Point of clarification, I would recommend Chair Hill yield to Senator Gray.
I can yield to Senator Gray.
Let's go. I think I have enough experience to speak on this. Let's be very clear with that. My issues with Leary started pretty early on. Examples of their lack of professionalism was calling me out in front of an entire room during a caucus meeting about issues that were happening the previous year. So last fall there was, this previous semester, there was a contingency between me and Leary regarding some issues in this previous spring of 2025. Those issues have not gone away. And I want to make it pretty clear that I've gone through the Conflict Resolution Center multiple times, and I was led on for months where they were in and out of mediation, and ended with during finals week where they suddenly decided that they were interested. I've spoken to Justin Dove, the advisor to the SDC. I've spoken to Julia Pratt, the advisor of the ASCSU, and nobody has been able to come to a resolution for this issue. Larry is not interested in working with me, not interested in working with anybody else, and I think that with this information, Leary will probably get this position. They will be efficient in completing the projects. But I want to echo the fact that we are a social organization as much as we want to act like we're doing a job. We are social. We represent our students, and if we cannot have respectful discourse in this space, then we are incompatible with our purpose. And I want to yield to Senator Dusterberg.
To add on to that, I'm not involved in the interpersonal issues. I have made a point to stay out of it and only work as in the vice chair position. I've been aware of the interpersonal issues. I have made a point to reach out to Leary individually in order to be able to still work as a caucus, and was met with nothing. That is my main concern as of this point in time. I think Leary would do an amazing job in the chair position, but I'm just voicing the concerns that I have seen. I know that there was Jess had gone through the process of mediation and was met with nothing. I tried to individually reach out with him, was met with nothing, and then was also faced with backlash directly from them, which made it more difficult for us to be able to continue working forward. And that's something that we had been working through all semester, something that we had put a lot of time into, and honestly, we probably had to put more time into that than we could anything else because we physically could not move forward in any of our projects. We had tried to make that point of contact multiple times and had no progress. And personally, I think in this situation, I don't think I would be able to work with Leary, and I would probably resign my seat as vice chair. I just don't see how I would be able to work with someone who's unwilling to mediate or work forward. But I do think that they would do very well in this position. They have a lot of experience and knowledge in this area. I yield my time.
Point of information, how much time do we have on the confidence clock?
1 minute.
Not a lot. Chairman, do you have a motion?
Yeah, I'm gonna make a motion, I don't know how many it is. My motion is can we extend the comment?
Clarification,
So if someone would be willing to suspend Article 7, Section 4, subsection G, subsection A of the bylaws, then we could extend it.
Yeah, I'll make the motion to suspend that specific subsection, you know.
Is there any dissent, anyone wanting to suspend that subsection? Hearing none. The confidence clause is, oh, there was dissent, that was my bad. Hearing dissent, we'll go ahead and vote on this via voice vote. All those in favor of suspend.
can you do a point of information on what exactly we're voting on for new people?
Okay, so the confidence clock, we have 2 hours on the confidence clock every time we enter confidence business. We're out of time in that time zone. The bylaws outline that we can't extend that and guest presentation. So in order to continue on, we would have to suspend that aspect of the bylaws to continue on with what we're doing. Does that make sense? Coolio. With that, let's vote on that. All those in favor of suspending the confidence clock, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Nay.
Any abstentions? With that, the ayes have it. And it's extended.
We can extend it.
Or not extended, it's gone.
Well, we are able to extend it now. Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Chairman Onti.
Now I will make a motion to extend it to 30 minutes, No? Y'all want an hour?
Whatever you want your motion to be, you should make it your motion.
I will motion to extend it at most an hour.
Coolio, let's go with just an hour. Is there any dissent to extending the confidence clock by an hour? Hearing none, we have an hour. With that,
We were out of time on the clock, so I think we were going to consider extending the time.
who is talking last? Raise your hand.
I yield.
Miriam.
Jericho, cool. You yielded, correct? Yes. Awesome, amazing. Chairman Onti, you're next on the speakers list.
Oh. Love that. So I'm gonna be straightforward, be blunt, be honest with all y'all. I'm abstaining from either approving this candidate. I understand the efficiency and the projects and the hard work that they put into making this campus accessible. I cannot deny that. But I also cannot deny the many conflicts that they have had with various individuals within this space and within this very organization. And unfortunately, when we take this role, we have to be able to put aside our stubbornness in a lot of facets and work with people we don't like. I'll even be candid, and this is going to be on record. So, Jakai, I'm sorry you're hearing this from this, but you also already knew. I don't like Jakai, but I'm still more than happy to work with him because I know that my job is to be for the betterment of the students. And if that means I have to work with someone who I don't like, if I have to tell them stuff that I know probably doesn't like, will be helpful in the projects that I am working on, I will tell them. I won't try to solo flagship my responsibility and try to forward flagship a job I'm doing. Which is something I think Leary also sort of does. They don't tell and share the information and do a lot of the work themselves, which 10 points for the work ethic, but that's not sustainable for anyone. So that is why I'm going to obviously abstain, because I understand their work on this canvas for accessibility. I could not think of someone who has worked harder, but I cannot and will not deny the actual facts and requirements of this job. It's more than just doing work, it's also working with others. I yield.
Thank you, Terminology. Just a brief reminder, we don't say we don't like people on the mics. No.
I'm fine taking strike.
Point of information, how many were on the speakers list?
Like 6?
I'd like to move to previous question, and I'll provide justification for this. I know this is a very difficult decision, and I think beating around the bush and just continuing to go back and forth is not really gonna get us anywhere. I think we all need to take a stance on if we're gonna vote for this candidate or not. I think we have the information necessary to make that decision, so yes.
Thank you, Chair McLaughlin. Is there a second? Second. Hearing a second, is there any dissent to previous question? Hearing none. Oh, there is dissent. So we'll go ahead and vote on this via voice vote. All those in favor of moving to previous question, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Nay. Any abstentions?
Abstain.
I believe the ayes have it. We will now be moving into a period of voting. Gino, can you explain the confidence?
So, since there is only a single candidate up for debate, for sake of simplicity, instead of writing a name or anything else, write confidence if you want Leary in this position, or no confidence if you do not want Leary in this position. This will mean the position of Accessibility Caucus Chair will remain vacant until we hold another election. And I'll begin passing out papers unless we want to do another form of voting.
Point of information, can you abstain in that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Coolio. I would also entertain a motion for recess while we're doing the whole ballot thing.
Point of information really quick.
Yes.
Am I allowed to make a point of clarification to say something that I wanted to say?
I think that depends on what you would want to say. Is it a piece of additional information that would inform the current process that we are trying to undertake, or is it something related to something that we were doing before?
Well, yes, it's a new piece of information. Okay. I'll just make a point of clarification. I think it's a mischaracterization to say that Leary cannot collaborate with others. I've had great experiences collaborating with them when I was elected.
So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on pause. We're voting.
Great.
We're in voting time. Hashtag voting. Senator Singleton.
I motion for a 5-minute recess during voting.
Coolio. Is there any dissent? Hearing none. Recess.
And I have extras just in case.
I don't know what I said.
Hey, Gio.
Yeah?
Should I leave a sheet people that aren't?
Gio, I gotta go. Do you think I can go right now?
Yeah, just real quick.
Do I give this to you?
Put it in a file somewhere.
I'm gonna put it here.
Perfect, amazing. Oh, file.
Thank you.
Are you excited for term? Woo!
Before I go, June, I can't do my committee hours because I go on the Teams app, and then whenever I try to click on committees, like none of them show up for me.
That's just because we have to like individually add people to our different committee channels. So if you want to shoot Gio or I an email with the things you want to be involved
Oh, really?
in, we can get you on.
Yeah, because I don't want to get a strike or anything for my committing an hours.
You're 100% good. Also, are you like new to the?
Yeah, and I haven't really got my onboarding meeting yet or anything, so.
With onboarding, that's something that's hopefully happening soon. But in addition, like for new people, we're very, very lax in terms of strikes. We don't want to
Okay,
yeah.
perfect. All right, well, thank you.
Promise we're not always this way.
I will. I'll
For next week to talk to you, and Delisa said they're coming to talk to you after. So,
Okay, can I give you my phone number?
yes, sorry, I forgot. Can I give you my phone number? Sorry.
Motion, are you good? Do you know someone who's staying here for a bit?
The voting pile's over there, just so that everyone.
I can also just ask.
Okay. No, it's okay. I'll just wait. I'm like, it's our bill. We're right here.
It's what?
Belen.
Can you also text it to me when I text you, right?
Yes,
Oh,
I
yeah. All that you have to do is come in.
Also, do you have a thingamadomaker?
Sorry, I was typing my name. Next week, it's 6:30 Wednesday every week, and then during the swearing in of new senators and associates, you would just come up to the front, do a little thing, get to repeat after me, and then you would just sit in the queues, and then you're pretty much good to go.
Are we secret ballot voting?
So much.
Do you have paper that I could steal?
Can we turn it?
Thank you. Wait, I should have just gone to you first. Sorry, guys. I totally thought I would be able to say that. Can I give them to you?
Yes.
Thank you. Does anyone else need a ballot? In the little pile?
The dress is incredibly cute. Thank you so much, Brooke. I was gonna say, this shirt?
Very iridescent, y'all, or something like that. Yes, you know what I'm trying to say. I'll probably just say it.
Also, I want you to take some time to chat with all of them about everything. I think I do. Let me find it. And then I just want to talk about just like all the things. And yeah.
I said I like it.
Okay, let's sit.
Like 2 votes. Perfect, but I am wrong.
Okay, I'm trusting you.
Voter fraud, legitimately cases of voter fraud where like the speaker pro tem had to individually take it from each side. See, I do love that. Like that's just like, wasn't that serious? It was that like,
Great. Thank you. Oh my gosh.
Does anyone have any more ballots? There is a minute remaining of recess.
Are you gonna stop?
Yes, everyone stay.
Yes. Hey, I'm still working towards recruitment my kitchen. Always.
Always.
Oh, speaking of that, we need to everyone run. Everyone must run. Everyone. Yeah, honestly, if y'all want to go to the meeting, I definitely think you should. And this is the anyway. It's really not like all like it's not hard. Like respectfully, it's not hard. You just meet with students, tell them everything. You have meetings with people, you connect with people. If you're social, I would definitely recommend it. Oh yeah, you can love to talk. I know. Everyone, I love your sweater. Thank you. I feel like I'm
going to tell them no.
What? Wait, what did you say? It's just really cute. It looks professional.
Because I got 2 plans when I went into that meeting. The plan for that person and the plan for students, the plan for well, with that falling through, I gotta focus on the other plan.
Yeah, hey, and I'm here to support you. like your hand. Oh my god, I work with ARS. Yeah, okay.
I'm still counting.
Oh.
Yeah.
So a minute.
My bad. Yeah, did I miss it?
Yeah, I basically just grind up everyone. You're happy school. Okay, yeah. So much love. Goodbye.
Point of personal privilege, the Zoom is still muted.
Right? Yes or no this time?
Yes or no?
We can also utilize a different means of voting if that's something someone wants to motion for. You can also abstain, you can always abstain. Chair Rivera.
We motion to vote with placards. Or I motion to vote.
Is there any dissent? Hearing dissent, we'll go ahead and vote on whether or not we use placards via voice vote. All those in favor? Melanie?
Can I give a point of clarification?
Yes.
Okay, so for a confidence vote to work, it needs a 2/3 vote for no confidence or confidence, which means 2/3 of you need to go either way. So if we don't reach that, then we can't go the confidence or no confidence route. Does that make sense? So the way that it's sitting right now, with the members who are voting versus the members who are abstaining, we're not reaching those numbers. And so if we need more time or more reasoning or a different method of voting, that's completely okay, but that is what happened with the confidence vote.
Too many people.
Julio, go ahead with placard, if do you have the same?
No, can I just motion to remove my bill from the agenda? I've been waiting all this time, but I'm like, I just really have to go.
I believe as the author of the bill, you're an author, correct?
You can just pull.
You can pull it.
I'm pulling it then.
Bill's pulled.
With that, we'll go ahead and vote on whether or not we use placards to vote via placard, because I don't trust voice vote. All those in favor, please raise your placard.
Six.
Thank you, go ahead and put those down. All those opposed to using placards?
What? Okay.
Any abstentions?
Okay.
I like that clip. Thank you. Everyone get home safe.
I have this whole
I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Senator Roberts.
I move to adjourn.
Is there any dissent to this motion?
Should I give reasoning?
Okay, we're lost in the sauce, so I'm gonna vocalize what's currently happening so that I know what's happening and all of you know what's happening. Currently, we voted via placard, whether or not we vote via placard. It didn't meet the threshold, so we're not voting via placard. Does anyone else have a motion for how we should vote? Senator Frisky.
Could we potentially just table this vote and go back to the old business and get through that stuff?
Are you making that motion?
Why not? Yeah, yeah.
Table it till when?
So I motion to table the accessibility caucus chair vote to next session and move on to old business. Skip LSAT. Sorry, much peace and love. Maybe, unless somebody really wants to. Okay, skipping LSAT.
Okay, so to repeat back your motion, you would like to table the accessibility caucus vote till next week, and then remove LSAP from the agenda and then move into legislation.
Yes, and then we can also have, like, everyone can figure out the confidence business vote by next week and have that as a body.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It will when I rewatch it on YouTube.
Okay, sure.
Is there any dissent to this motion? Seeing none, we will move outside of the election of the accessibility cost chair. If someone wants to grab Leary. And we will, when Gio gets back, move into old business.
I'm sorry, point of information. I'm not fully read up on all current bylaws. Are there any bylaws that prevent us to move on with voting on old business when most of the Senate is not here?
Yes, technically quorum can be called. That is up to any voting member of the Senate to call quorum. We would then calculate quorum, and then if we don't need quorum, we could go into a session where nothing we vote on like fully counts until we approve the agenda next week.
This is not me going for the motion, this is just me being curious. I'll let anyone else who wants to do that entertain that.
For a point of information, could you remind, for new members and everyone, a definition of quorum?
Quorum just means that we don't have 2/3 of our voting membership. Quorum is assumed until someone is like, we don't have quorum.
Can I have a point of personal privilege to ask the parliamentarian to check if anyone who mentions quorum, I believe it's if quorum is ever brought up, it then needs to be evaluated. It's not a matter of voting members.
Point of inquiry, because we don't have, because there were questions about quorum, I feel like if we can't call quorum if we don't know what it is.
I would like to use my facilitator powers. My call, quorum wasn't asked for, quorum was asked about, therefore we will be moving on. Moving forward, we're out of the election. We're now moving into old business, starting with the reallocation of contractual savings.
Am I supposed to present it?
Are you reading the extras too?
Oh yeah, sorry. Wow, oh my gosh. Bill 5535, reallocated contractual savings. This bill reallocates savings from contracts with the New York Times, USA Today, and Rocky Mountain Student Media Corporation to various uses within ASCSU.
Can you scroll down to show any edits made? Or any edits made by the University Affairs Committee? Whose chair is no longer here? No? Okay, the Budgetary Affairs Committee made several small-ish edits. We reduced $250 from the alumni relations line item and moved it to the elections line item. We combined the undergraduate and graduate graduation gowns line items into one line item managed by the Department of Environmental Affairs. With that, I will accept all edits and take any questions or discussion.
With that, we'll now be entering a period of discussion debate by first raised placard. I hate both of you. Senator Taylor. With love and not ad hominem, to clarify.
I think that this money is all going to good projects, and so I motion to previous question.
Is there any dissent? Hearing none, we'll now move into a period of voting on this piece of legislation. Chair Gray, you're the nicest.
Yeah, I motion to approve this unanimous consent.
Is there any dissent to the passage of this legislation? Hearing none, congratulations, Jared. We'll now be moving into Bill 5527, the 2025-2026 ASCSU Supreme Court job descriptions.
Bill 5527, 2025-2026 ASCSU Supreme Court job descriptions. This bill aims to establish updated and revised job descriptions for the judicial branch, specifically covering the Associate Justices, the Deputy Chief Justice, and the Chief Justice.
Were there any?
Oh, yeah. I don't, no, it was just discharged.
Cool, I'm assuming you accept a lack of edits, so with that, we'll now, or you can. Cool, sick. With that, we'll now be entering a period of discussion debate by first raised placard. Chairman Alty.
We trust the Supreme Court. Motion to previous question.
Is there any dissent? There is dissent here. Dissent will go ahead and vote whether or not we continue with discussion and debate via voice vote. All those in favor of continuing, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Cool. Any abstentions? Hearing none, we'll continue with a period of discussion debate by first raised placard.
Hey, we're in discussion.
Wait, yeah.
Point of information, didn't the yeas have it, or?
The yeas have it, so we're still in discussion debate if anyone wants to discuss or debate. You're fine now?
I'm sorry, I don't know everyone's last name, so I thought that the read it out part was misspelled, but it was not someone's last name.
I would entertain a motion to previous question. Senator Vega.
I entertain a motion to previous question.
I'm glad to hear it. Do you make the motion to previous question?
Sorry, what do? I motion to make that motion.
Thank you, Senator Vega. Is there any dissent to that motion? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and move into a period of voting on this legislation. We're going to do it by unanimous consent. Does anyone dissent to this piece of legislation being passed? Hearing none, it's passed.
Speaker Reese, I'd like to give 2 points of order.
Yes.
When we're discussing things in Senate, can we have silence in the chambers?
Got that, guys? Sick. Cool. Senator Morales Jennings.
No, a point of order. 2 points of order, actually. The first point of order will be that a point of personal privilege was made earlier that was ignored. And my second point of order is to point to section 3 of the bylaws that does state that if you have fluorides that you can call for a quorum. And I do believe that it is appropriate to call for a quorum this late with this few voting members. It was mentioned, and that is typically the protocol.
As far as I am aware, Senator Emeritus is ex officio and therefore not a member.
Until a member of the Senate calls for quorum.
As I was saying, it would have to be a member of the Senate specifically calling for quorum, and I don't believe you would count as that. Senator Frisky.
Also, point of inquiry, can you even see how many people are here?
Yeah, I saw a lot of people
Respectful
leave.
manner.
We're gonna go ahead and move on from this unless a senator or associate wants to call for quorum.
Since I'm an endorser.
Sick.
Oh, okay. You're parliamentarian now.
Amazing. Oh,
No,
well,
I can't.
cool. Esteban, can you be my speaker or my parliamentarian for 2 seconds? Amazing. Wonderful.
Can I entertain a motion now?
Okay, with that, we'll now be moving into Bill 5530, establishing term limits for university-wide elected positions within ASCSU. Can you scroll and see if any edits were made to the legislation? Do the authors accept this legislation? Or the edits?
Yes.
Amazing. With that, we'll now be entering a period of discussion debate by first raised placard on this legislation. Senator Singleton.
From all the people I've talked to, I feel like everyone that I've talked to says that this is a good idea, and the bad parts of it, I can see their concern. However, I do also believe that adding term limits to elected positions is a very good idea, so yeah, I yield.
Thank you, Senator Singleton. Senator Greer.
I agree with Senator Singleton. There's some parts of this I'm not the biggest fan of, but all in all, I'm pretty much in favor of it. It's better to have a bulwark against some kind of misappropriation of the systems of democracy we have in our shared government system at this university than it would be to fear someone not getting a certain opportunity because those bulwarks are already there. These can always be changed later, and it's better to try now to prevent something like that from happening than to regret it in the future when it has already happened. I yield.
Thank you, Senator. Chair McLaughlin.
I will be voting against this Lex, probably on my own. Not because I'm opposed to term limits, I'm more opposed to the Senate on its own deciding on if term limits exist. I view this as a change to voting rights for our constituents, and I think those decisions should be made by the constituents themselves. Thank you. I yield.
Thank you, Senator Roberts.
I'm just going to echo exactly what Jared said. I agree, and I will be voting against this Lex for the same reason, so I yield to redundancy.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to speak at this time? Can you read out the point of order in your turn?
Is this on? Point of order from, as a point of order, I made a point of personal privilege to check.
No, that was earlier. That was earlier.
Oh, that was earlier? It said 10:08. It's 10:09.
Oh, what? Another one?
You guys didn't really finish the, point of personal privilege was to check the rule. And I cited where I was reading from and I didn't get that. So I just wanted to make that quietly on the chat. But since we're talking about it, that's what it is.
Aaron, can you read out the specific section in reference to the membership thing with quorum?
Quorum shall be held until a member of the Senate calls for quorum and it is not met.
Okay, and then if you read the next section, if the quorum is not met, it shall be considered held until the end of the current secondary or subsidiary motion until an official with floor rights calls for a quorum. What it's saying is that you assume quorum until someone mentions it.
Well, it says calls for, but additionally, if you'd like to make a motion to overrule the speaker, we can hold that vote.
I would just like to have points of privilege held with, equal regard, whether or not you agree or disagree. I think if someone asks to check what the rules are, that it not be brushed off.
I can assure that Aaron and I did check over that specific section. I will make that point clearer in the future. Thank you for the constructive feedback. Moving forward, unless there's something else. Hearing none, we'll go ahead and move forward. I believe, is there anyone else who'd like to discuss or debate on term limits? Wild. With that, we'll now be moving into a period of voting. I would entertain.
I'd like to make a motion to vote on this by placard.
Is there any dissent to that means of voting? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and take a placard vote. All those in favor, please raise your placard.
I'd like to request that a recount be done. Senator Gray.
Okay, everyone raise them really high. Thank you. You guys can go ahead and put those down. Now, if you're opposed, please raise your placard. Thank you. Any abstentions? Seeing none, with a vote of 13-4, term limits passes.
Thank you all.
Okay, with that, we'll now be moving into Bill 5533, funding safety equipment for the student education garden.
I'd like to make a motion to lay over the remainder of the agenda until next week.
Second.
Is there any dissent? Hearing none, I'm still gonna adjourn, but we adjourn. If you didn't get here, come talk to me. Cool, epic. Thank you guys.